Has Pokemon VGC finally learned their lesson? Of course not. It's the worst community in all of esports. Further proven because the 2022 Salt Lake City Regional Champion has been caught cheating. This guy went 11-0, undefeated, got first place, but Kurt has found him out. Kurt is the maker of Pokemon hacks, and he is fed up that competitive players are using his software to break the rules and cheat at events to steal prize money from legitimate players. So whenever he gets a hold of a team, he will break it down and then show that it is hacked. So if you enjoy this, don't forget to leave a like. Actually, you must leave a like because these salty cheaters are going to try to demote this video into oblivion. Same thing for sharing this video, leaving a comment really helps with the algorithm. So let's see what's going on here. VGC cheating update. With high-profile in-person VGC events resuming last February, rental teams have been getting shared. Free hack checks for all. Neat to note that many top cut, finalists, and a winner had illicitly acquired teams. Here are some of the stats. So before we even get into how the Pokemon were hacked, we can just kind of see what's going on with the team reporting. So this is mostly from people that are like, hey, here's the team I used to get 16th at regionals, or here's the team I topped with, and then they post it. Kurt gets a hold of it, runs it through his hacking program, and then he finds out that the Pokemon are illegal. But look at this, very, very few teams are actually getting posted because pretty much everyone is cheating. And of the teams that get posted, we are seeing 100% illegality, or just a majority of teams being posted by top VGC players being hacked. And just because it comes up as legal also doesn't mean that they were a completely legitimate player. It just means that they've been learning from Wolfey VGC getting caught cheating multiple times now, and then other players getting exposed. Last year, Kurt made a lot of posts like this one, breaking down Invitational and Players Cup teams from top VGC players. We have former world champions like Arash Amadi and Wolf Glick being invited to a 25th anniversary event from the Pokemon Company, and then they disgrace the event by bringing hacked Pokemon and cheating at the event. And for events like the Pokemon Players Cup 4, every top player has been caught cheating. It's insane, and it hasn't gotten any better. So for starters, pretty much no one is posting their team anymore because everyone's cheating and they don't want to get caught. But of the few people that are like, hey, I got top 16 at this event, or here's the code of the team I used at this regionals to get top cut, we can see that a majority of them are using cheated Pokemon. And just because we have this legal coming through doesn't mean the team was not modified. So there's still a very, very high chance that these teams are also cheated as well, but not as blatant as some of the other ones. But look how low these reporting percentages are. We have some events where we're getting just 3 or 4 players from the entire event sharing their team because everyone else is cheating and doesn't want to get caught. And again, of the people that are, we have 100% or at least majority cheating rates. So yeah, note that many Top Cut finalists and winners had illicitly acquired teams. Damn, that's insane. But now, let's get into it. So we have this guy right here, Chongjun, Pokemon VGC player, 2022 Salt Lake City Regional Champion. He's so happy he's gonna cry. He's so happy he hacked his Pokemon to get an advantage against other players that words can't even describe it, and he's proud to be a cheater. Well, let's see what we have here. Common faults include the usual suspects. Common faults include the usual suspects: sloppy copies, missing cosmetic data, height, weight, home tracker, bad trash bites, raid RNG, and trade bot use. So let's go and reset the GIF so we can see, oh, those are just the same height and weight values because the hacked Pokemon were just copied. We can also see that 508 EVs across the board, which is a very clear sign of hacking. And then, again, copy-pasted home tracking data as well. So the Pokemon are 100% cheated. We can even see the little notes about what is wrong with the Pokemon. So yeah, shared home tracker, which is completely impossible, shared height and weight, and then also something about the perfect IVs and EVs from legendary Pokemon, but those aren't possible because of the raid RNG seeds. So unlike last November's expose, players are no longer being caught with bad move memories or missing overworld RNG correlation. So the overworld RNG was from Wolfey VGC getting caught with a hacked Pokemon. So yeah, Arash's team 100% hacked. By the way, Wolf's Moltres was hacked. So if you've seen Wolf's Hackerman video, that video is just a pure lie. Wolfey VGC is a 100% confirmed habitual liar, cheater, and general fraud. Since Wolfglick has a history of cheating in VGC going all the way back to Generation 5, also using an impossible Dream Ball Raichu in 2016, and his World Champion team being completely hacked, I thought his team for the Players Cup 2 looked suspicious, and it turns out I was right, and Kurt caught him in a lie, because the Moltres was hacked. Wow, who could have guessed? Well, not idiots that think Wolfglick is legitimate or follow him at all. So even with players trying to cover up their hacked Pokemon, which was also something interesting about Players Cup 4, where a lot of the teams where it's like, oh, we could see where you tried to hide it, but you still got caught. A lot of players have been covering it up, and still most VGC players are getting caught, showing how rampant the cheating problem is in VGC. So they're using trade bots or trying to edit trade bot Pokemon, still getting caught. And then with the max raid dens, max layer legendaries with perfect IVs are immediately suspect. Neither of these had expected RNG correlation, aka impossible. So yeah, if you see a non-hyper trained max raid legendary Pokemon, it just hacked. Wow, who could have guessed? Same thing with shiny legendary Pokemon. We've seen this trend for over a decade in Pokemon, and people still deny it. Full shiny teams, hacked. Perfect legendaries, hacked. Even with hyper training, over 99% of these Pokemon are cheated. It's that bad. So yeah, players have been less likely to post teams, and there's been more censored rental codes lately. I wonder why. I guess it's because people don't want free hack checks. Also, by the way, and this is like, I love these little like closing things where it's like, oh, just if you couldn't think it was bad enough, like Arashimati, former world champion, every other person at the Invitational caught cheating. Nah, Wolf's Moltres was hacked, by the way. So we also have, by the way, the owner of the event Dracovish distributed at the EU International Championship has shared a ton of hacked rental teams. Everything that comes from this guy is hacked. Great. Unfortunately, couldn't find the original Dracovish rental team, but his friend's recreation that he retweeted was illegal. Funny to see players obtaining their teams from trade bots. So all the receipts on that, but it was an event distribution. Turned out the OG Pokemon was hacked, and the OG trainer is just a massive cheater. Yeah, the entire competitive Pokemon scene is that fraudulent. And people are going to say, well, it's not cheating. Bruh, the maker of PK Hex is calling it cheating. And now, the cheating has gotten so bad that the Pokemon Company cannot acknowledge or address it, or else the entire scene goes down. But that's why we gotta shed some light on this. So please tweet this at PlayPokemon, Pokemon Company, share with Pokemon support if you have the free time to do so. Blast this video and this information everywhere. That way we can hopefully get a clean, competitive scene as we go into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. You know your game has a cheating problem when the cheat maker is disgusted by how much cheating is happening in competitive play. So once again, Cafotix has come in, checked the teams of the top placing players at official events, and then realized, yeah, everyone is hacking. And in this case, everyone is hacking. It's absurd. In today's episode of Touch Grass, we'll be looking at rental teams posted by players used in various official tournaments, as you may have already guessed, hacked Pokemon. So here is just a taste as to what we are to expect. Now, the first thing I want to get ahead of are the idiots that always come in and say, it doesn't matter how you get your Pokemon, it only matters what happens inside of the battle. Okay, so if cheating isn't a problem according to you, or if hacking isn't a problem, then why did Wolfglick lie about it? Because Wolf has already been caught multiple times cheating Pokemon, using cheated Pokemon to win game. Instead of coming clean, why did he make a video defaming me even though I was correct about the hacked Moltres? There's also a lot of other lies in this video, like the Seattle Regionals was not my first Pokemon regional event, so it turns out the person that's bad enough of a person to cheat in a children's game to gain advantage to steal thousands of dollars from other players is also just a habitual liar. Here's the tweet of Cafotix confirming that Wolf's Moltres was hacked just as I suspected, because it turns out the odds of that Pokemon didn't seem really possible, and yeah, they had impossible overworld RNG values and a bad memory general location. So, if you haven't done so, like, this guy knows the data of the Pokemon. He breaks down how this is confirmed proof of cheating because the Pokemon cannot exist without hacking. If people still try to deny it, like, who's this guy anyways? How do we know that if Verlisify's talking about him that he's telling the truth? He made the cheat. This is the dude behind PK Hex. He knows more about Pokemon data than you will ever learn in your life. Also, if you haven't done so by now, please leave a like on the video and share it with all your friends. I mean, all your friends, everyone, please get this out. We need it to go mainstream at how bad the cheating problem is in the Pokemon community. Every Pokemon tweet, boom, tweet this. Hashtag Wolfey lied, this video, every Play Pokemon tweet as well. We need to see action taken because the top players are also trying to cover it up. So here's a follow-up from Kurt. We're going to go into the chain as well and break down how and why the Pokemon are hacked, but we also need to kind of just show everything else that's going on. So tweet us, delete us, had no effect. Renzo Navarro, this guy, he is the champion of Players Cup 4. He was invited to the 25th anniversary championship, and he used a hack team there, and it looks like, even though Cafotix caught him, he decided to use a hack team again at the global exhibition. Here's his tweet, top 4 in the global exhibition. Here's the team he posted. Using the code from this team, it was able to be found out that his team is explicitly hacked. If there's no problem with cheating, why did he delete the tweet? If there's no problem with cheating, then why is it okay that they are defrauding thousands of dollars from legitimate players? Pokemon VGC has gotten so bad and the community is so full of cheaters that are just committed to the lie that there is no problem with hacking Pokemon that now they can't even accept the truth when it comes out that everyone is hacking. So we've gone down the list of still working team codes for the Players Cup 4 Global Finals, and all of them have issues. Rental team codes sourced from here. So Victory Road, people posting their team codes because they like to celebrate off of their victory, and yeah, then they have to delete tweets after they get caught for cheating. Either way, these are the exact same Pokemon the players used, so if there's any problem with them, it means there is cheating. So we can just kind of go through and see what's going on here. Febsy's team has 3 missing home trackers, and the Thundurus has no max layer correlation with 0 height, 0 weight. Redsteel is also a 0/0, so again, like when just lazily hacking in Pokemon, you don't put in these values because they don't really mean anything, and they're all like these hidden RNG memory values and stuff. But then it turns out like, oh, that's actually a very telltale sign of cheating because the Pokemon can't exist like that in the game. Like, that's just how it'd be hacked in. Strangely, the Blastoise from Fire Red has the same 16-bit secret ID as the bred Rillaboom. I do not even want to consider getting into how impossible that is, but let's keep on going. Kevin's team was obviously generated via the auto legality mod for PK Hex. Registeel had only 492 EVs. Nice handicap, bro. 6 IVs and shiny. You ain't fooling me. Luke's team was obviously generated with the auto legality mod, and that's it. Like, this is the reason why there's so many hacked Pokemon in competitive play, is because PK Hex, like, people have brought hacked consoles to Pokemon events to then extract the legality checker from the actual event and then reverse engineer it to spit out Pokemon that fool the hack check. Just because it fools the hack check doesn't mean it's not generated or cheated, because people are still cheating it to get past the cheat detection. 3 flawless legendaries all captured on the same day, and everything has 508 EVs. Once again, 508 EVs showing that a Pokemon is hacked. Because if you have spent any amount of time legitimately training Pokemon in Pokemon games, you know that 508 EVs is not legitimate because you will overcap, especially in Pokemon Sword and Shield. What you do is go 26 vitamins, 26 hit point up, 26 iron, and then you go 1 protein, boom, that's 510. You're overcapped. But what if I don't waste vitamins on the last stat? Then what you do is you put on a power item, you go into the wild, you KO 1 Pokemon, the power item is worth 8 extra EVs, and boom, you're overcapped. But what about feathers? No one uses feathers. Feathers are a complete noob item because they take longer to obtain and train your Pokemon with than the other two methods mentioned above. Also, if you do Poke Jobs, you're going to overcap on EVs. Now, maybe every once in a while, Pokemon will come out with 508 just because that's how it breaks down. But as I talked about with Wolf's Incineroar that he used at Players Cup 2, it's not happening. Like, the way that you get that Incineroar only leads to 510 EVs, but it has 508 because it was generated through the Auto Legality mod. When the hack generates the Pokemon, the extra 2 EVs don't matter, so it just doesn't put them in. Which means if you see 508 on top of an already suspicious team, that is the final nail in the coffin for cheating, and on top of Wolf's Moltres and every other Pokemon looking kind of suspicious except for like maybe 1 or 2, then you look at the Incineroar, yep, that just kind of really shows how it's hacking. And then on top of that, it's a full team of 6 IV Pokemon, but you can use Hyper Training not to get the 0 in the stat. That is going to take a lot of soft resets, and even then, like, there's no Hyper Training involved. These are just natural 6 IVs because hacking, I could show you all 6, but they're all like this. Enrique's team, all with his OT, has a flawless Tapu Fini with 0 height, 0 weight, no max layer correlation. All 4 of the bred Pokemon have 0 height and weight. So they try to get sneaky with it. Even if you see someone that has all their trainer ID for the Pokemon that they've bred, still very, very likely to be hacked. If there's no problem with cheating, then why are they going so far out of their way to not get caught? But then 3 of the 4 bred Pokemon were shiny on top of having the impossible height and weight. Celesteela is also modified. Others lack memories with the handling trainer. And it just keeps on proving that multiple perfect shiny Pokemon means the person is hacking, even if you look at it and go, oh, they bred it. Well, I mean, this one's actually really sloppy because it all has the same bred date, but even then, like, the odds are so unfathomable, even with all the new stuff in Pokemon Sword and Shield, or even in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and all the quality of life that's happened over the last decade or so, it's still going to be hacked because hacking is that prevalent. Antonio's team, we're not going to go through all these, but it's just kind of like, it's kind of crazy how we have pretty much every possible way to hack a Pokemon on display at a major Pokemon event. And remember, there's hundreds to thousands of dollars on the line. Antonio's team has a Dragapult, Colossal, and Moltres without the overworld RNG correlation. Urshifu has flawless IVs, oddly, all of these same IV marking patterns. So, boom, we got that. And, yeah, it's just like, okay, how do you get a 6 IV Urshifu? That Pokemon can't even be bred. That is some madness right there. They also have these marks. So, it's trying to be deceptive as well with this mark, where it's like, we have IV for hit points, attack, defense, no special attack, even though it actually does have special attack, and then special defense speed. So again, weird stuff to try to make the Pokemon appear legitimate on the surface, but lazy auto legality generation and other like modifications to their Pokemon kind of prove hacks. And then we have 508, 508, totally believable. You captured this as a 6 IV. Personal ID correlation doesn't match, all kinds of weird stuff. Nick's team has a Whimsicott with an invalid ability bit flag. No bits are set. I don't even know how that gets past the hack check. It's also online, so maybe online hack check is weaker than the regionals hack check, so people are getting away with. I don't even know. Tapu Fini is from Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, has flawless IVs for a static encounter. So that is a flawless IV Tapu Fini, just without even hyper training involved. Similar for Raikou, which has a flawless hidden power ice spread from Generation 6.
But for Lisify, hidden power was removed from Pokemon Sword and Shield, so that doesn't matter.
Actually does. What this suggests is that the Raikou was hacked and then used for other VGC events in other generations of Pokemon, and then transferred through Pokemon Home into Pokemon Sword and Shield, used the like battle update feature to make it battle ready for Generation 8, and then just, you know, thrown out into games right there. So this Raikou has been through multiple generations as a hacked Pokemon. And once again, this goes back to like Generation 7 and 6 and a lot of Generation 5, when you see VGC players using Perfect IV, Hidden Power Pokemon, of course hacked, but no, it's possible, bro, or full teams of shiny Pokemon, stuff like that. It all lines up. So yeah, there's the Tapu Fini and the shiny Raikou, and it looks like someone learned their lesson. 510 EVs, but then also 508s on the team, so not even consistent with the training, more shiny Pokemon, more just showing how much they're hacking. 4 sharing the same height and weight and the same encryption constant. Took the time to change all the dates and fiddle with the memories, yet forgot those small details. So then hacks, look at this! Look at what I was talking about. So like I said, they're trying to make their Pokemon look legitimate. Like, oh, hey man, I bred this. Hey, I got it myself because look, it's got my OT. It's got all of these, it has different dates and stuff. My perfect shiny Pokemon is totally legit, bro, and since I bred them on different days, or I caught these legendary Pokemon in different days, see, I'm like the only legitimate guy here. But nah, they go out of their way to make, like, if I saw that, I'd be like, I can't really get upset at just like the one Amoonguss, and if all that showed like Hyper Train and stuff, I'd look at it and be like, okay, yeah, maybe this guy is legit. Like, I still have, like, just general suspicion of every top VGC because that's how it's come out over the years. I'd probably have to, like, dig into their Twitter to find a team that they've talked about 4 years or 5 years ago, but that tweet's probably deleted because of all the publicity I've given. Like, this guy is scared. This guy's terrified of getting caught hacking and then still gets caught anyway. And, like, that's what I mean. The different flavors of hacking. You have the people that just auto-legality. You have the people that are super blatant about it. You have the people that know it's bad, that know they're doing wrong, and they don't want to risk it just in case something happens and these players start getting caught. Renzo's Global Expedition team was posted to Twitter. Here's the tweet. That's what we talked about earlier. This is the third different flawless Regieleki. This time, it's not shiny. So the hacked shiny Regieleki that Renzo got caught with at the Invitational and then Kurt made a tweet about, that was too suspicious. So he had to go and make another perfect one, this time not shiny. I don't know why. He's already been caught and confirmed as a cheater at this point, but decides to make another one. And this is something that I've seen many times where it's like at Worlds, at events, people just change their teams. And it's not like, oh, I was able to breed a couple Pokemon overnight. It's like, no, I got flawless 6IV legendary Pokemon. Like people were just swapping Kyogres left and right. Like back in 2016, you read the team reports, and turns out they had like 2 different Kyogres for the event. And then there was the Paul Ruiz thing where he left his DS at home and then like tweeted about it and then showed up with completely different Pokemon at Worlds. It's weird. So yeah, just constantly like hacking and refreshing to try to like throw people off the trail. Nah. Leonardo's Malmo team was posted to Twitter. Now, this is an older tweet, but it's still a VGC event for Pokemon Sword and Shield where he got top 8 and the team was hacked. Also, he ended up winning the global exhibition. And we see that here with this. So, I mean, like, they're all cheaters. They all hack. You can't deny that it gives an advantage because, surprise, if you have hundreds of hours of battle experience over a legitimate player, you're going to have a massive advantage. Also, the ability to swap out teams, have perfect Pokemon that maybe the legitimate player doesn't have time to obtain. They can make and test multiple Pokemon teams in a day. They can have different sets, EVs, IVs, and like just different setups for the same species of Pokemon that would take hours for a legitimate player to fiddle around with, change, revert, go back, maybe have a secondary backup Pokemon for like a quick swap or something. All of that takes time and energy. And that is going to be a drain on the legitimate player in multiple ways. And it is an objective disadvantage. I don't know how the Pokemon community has just lied to themselves to make cheating so acceptable. All the top players cheat. It's an objective, competitive advantage, especially back in 2016. Wolf Glick's entire career is based off of cheating, is based off of hacking. this Raichu would take like 50,000 years of constant soft resetting to obtain because you didn't have any guaranteed IVs. Then we also have the legendary Pokemon, which would take an insurmountable amount of time. So if you didn't show up to a 2016 regional event without 6 IV perfect legendary Pokemon that could only exist through hacking, you were at a massive disadvantage, and it shows because everyone was hacking. And then, like, the deeper you go into it, the crazier it gets. I pretty much assumed, like, yeah, everyone top 16, everyone top 32 in, like, Pokemon VGC these days is just, like, cheating at this point. But I never thought I would get the hardest of confirmation like this. Like, you can look at the teams, you can break it down, it can be really suspicious. But as you can see, a lot of people are going out of their way to, now that I've, like, I've been the watchdog on the scene, I've come in and I've caught so many cheaters that now they gotta play scared. After the whole Joshua Lorsi and Alejandro Jimenez thing, the entire VGC community pretty much went dark, and then the tournament organizers started to play cover for all the people that were cheating, and the tournament organizers even knew that players were pirating their games for early copies of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and they did nothing to punish these people with known hacked DSs and known hacked Pokemon. Instead, they said, hey, stop giving Verlisify all this ammo, and they started to slow down. They'd either, like, block me, which makes it hard to search for their tweets, they'd private their Twitter entirely, like Joshua Lorsi did, and then, like, they just go and delete tweets. They're just quiet now. They've locked up, and it's been a lot harder to find people unless you just catch blatant hacking. And even then, if I go, hey, this VGC player shouldn't have the time to get a full team of shiny Pokemon that also has, 0 attack IVs, which you can't bottle cap, idiots out there will be like, nope, not cheating, there's nothing wrong with that. How dare you say that? I'm a shiny hunter. And then they're like, but people like A-Drive exist. It's A-Drive's job to shiny hunt for a living, and as we saw from the Twitch leaks, he makes like $500,000 a year. And not even he has the time to get legitimate teams for draft leagues, and he admitted to hacking his Pokemon. So that should be a complete betrayal of his audience. All of you guys that are like, yeah, Team Shiny, legitimacy, and all that cool stuff, we get our Pokemon the right way. Well, A-Drive has admitted to hacking his Pokemon. And he also, like, joins hacked raids, and he modifies his game data. So, I mean, like, once again, like, all of these people that are popular in the Pokemon community are complete frauds because hacking is so ingrained in every aspect of Pokemon right now. And people were even cheating in the Spooky Cup. I think only a few thousand people entered that because they just want to have some Halloween fun. Also, 508, 508, and it's a Japanese player. So maybe Japanese players are still cheating and they're harder to detect. The thing about the 25th anniversary invitational is that it pretty much proved that every non-Japanese Pokemon World Champion is a cheater. Now, we already knew that. I showed the proof, but it had like the hardest of confirmation from the person that makes the hack. Just being like, yeah, these Pokemon are just straight up impossible. Even if they look legitimate, even it'd be hard to pin them otherwise, nah, they're straight up hacked. The Japanese players didn't have it, but maybe they're smarter about their cheating because if they get caught, the Pokemon Company actually cracks down a lot harder on them. Pokemon Company International seems to be infinitely more corrupt, and that's where we have a lot of problems. But conclusion, sure, these do not impact the battles directly, but players sourcing their team through external means gives a competitive edge against those not taking unofficial shortcuts. That's it. And the thing is, like, well, if everyone's cheating, then why is it wrong to cheat? It's like, no, because legitimate players aren't going to cheat. Surprise, people don't want to break the rules. Surprise, that's why VGC is dying and or dead. So we even have some replies. This is sad and unfair to those trying to play fair and competitive. This is why I stopped taking it seriously a long time ago. People see me like, hey, did you want to become 2016 world champion? Well, this was the guy in your way. The person that had a completely impossible Raichu and the full 6IV Pokemon, and it's also just demoralizing when we go up against like full shiny teams of 6IV legendaries and stuff like that. So all the hundreds of hours you've put into the game, you don't want to put any more just to get cheated against and lose because it gives an objective competitive advantage. And that's why VGC is just all hackers now. It's a small dying scene that no one cares about because cheating has made it just so bad, so toxic. Players are given multiple ways in-game to obtain competitive teams, yet all evidence indicates that the top players are disregarding those options and instead cheat or have others cheat for them. This changes in the future. Well, like, it's actually pretty awesome that this guy's going on a crusade. Now, my understanding is that he likes the idea of being able to, like, tinker with your game and being able to, like, put Pokemon in for personal use or to, like, make teams so that way you can play with your friends a lot easier. But under no circumstances should you be using PK Hex for competitive play or serious competitive events where there is money on the line. That is his line. And now that that line has been broken for years, it looks like he's fed up. And he's given me a lot of ammo, which is really awesome to cover. But I've been doing this for, I forgot how long. People didn't want to accept that Ray Rizzo was a cheater when he used a Dream Ball Aegislash at Nationals. And the hack check didn't catch that. Also, the other balls that his Pokemon had were impossible as well, like the Drizzle Polytoad inside of a Lure Ball or something. Like, and then he also admitted to using Pokegen back in the day, or Pokecheck back in the day, to hack Pokemon for Generation 5, which was when he was the world champion. So it only got worse from there, and then everyone played cover for Wolf Glick, even though that was indefensible, and now it turns out, yeah, Wolf Glick is a habitual liar and hacker. Wow. Then we get a little bit extra right here. Can't speak for Caphotix directly, but going way back, Project Pokemon and staff were always against hacking for any competitive play. He and the others have often pointed out evidence of modification on any top player's Pokemon team when the info was available. I didn't see it in this way, but yeah, now it's kind of crazy. We have top VGC players replying to this, saying these threads are cringe and useless. So what do we got? We got 7th at Worlds 2018, top 8 Players Cup 3, Sea-Dog, so I guess like some kind of draft league and all this other stuff, and enough CP to qualify for Worlds. Also friends with Ender VGC, I'm pretty sure I've exposed him for hacking in the past as well. And like the European players are way more egregious on their hacking, as I've learned just over time and how deep the rabbit hole goes. So yeah, 7th place, 2014-2015, Nationals, 2015 Day 1's World competitor, so making the Worlds through hacking, Boston Open Regionals champion. So we have a regional champion who is, you know, it's all like a cabal of cheating at this point. Like, we have a VGC competitor that tops at events saying that it's cringe and useless to point out cheating. And then we can just see how deranged the Pokemon community is. If you think breeding and EV training has anything to do with the player and their accomplishments, you need a new hobby. Well, in Wolf's case, like, he does not win Worlds without that team, objectively. Like, if he has to get that team legitimately, he is at such a disadvantage that he gets slapped out. Also, I believe the lore even goes deeper than I thought with this, because Wolf and Marcus had the same exact team, and look how well they did. However, they faced each other in semifinals. So Marcus threw the game to Wolf to make Wolf become world champion because they had a Raichu that no one else at the event could have that gave such a massive advantage, they were effectively first and second place at the event. It actually matters. The rules say it matters. Pokemon VGC Rulebook, Rule 4.3, the use of external devices such as a mobile app to modify or create Pokemon or items in a player's party is expressly forbidden, regardless if those Pokemon were traded for. I've said it so many times, it appears to be permanently imprinted in my brain, and I feel like that was actually verbatim. Either way, the rules say you're not allowed to do it, so that makes it cheating. The placements of the players and also just fucking common sense show that it gives an objective competitive advantage. So that's, I find it funny. This person is saying that the maker of the hack needs a new hobby for exposing people for using their hack at competitive events, which he is explicitly against. So yeah. I would roast you for telling people to touch grass when you've gone through a bunch of teams and analyzed a bunch of stuff, but honestly, you're not even worth the time. Nah, if you're cheating in a children's game to defraud other players of thousands of dollars, you're the one in the wrong. And if you're defending that, you're just a lost human. You just need to be thrown out. Like, there's no saving you. But there we go, guys. That is the current update that we have to all of the VGC cheating shenanigans. Like, it's kind of crazy that even with all of this proof, the Pokemon Company does nothing. There is no change to the rules, there's no admittance, there's no development of some kind of program that lets you just make your own teams. Like, I'm okay with that. Back in the day, back in like Generation 6, 7, I was just like, nah, man, we can't bend the knee, we can't cave in. We have to make it to where, like, these players get punished, everyone plays legit, Pokemon as intended, boom, there we go, GG, easy. But now it's gotten to the point where every top player is hacking. Everyone in VGC is hacking. The idea of a Pokemon Battle Revolution 2 as the hub for everything competitive in Pokemon sounds super appealing and would definitely, absolutely need like that Pokemon Showdown kind of functionality to where you put in the IVs of the Pokemon you want, you put in the EVs, you make the moveset, and then you just get to run the Pokemon into battles like that. But until that happens, it's cheating. there's no defending it, and something needs to be done. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Kurt is back with more free hack checks, this time for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The same hack checks that confirmed Wolfey VGC as a cheater, as well as the Pokemon 2022 World Champion and many others. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and share this video and Twitter post with everyone. Also, share the previous hack checks because, yeah, turns out pretty much all of VGC is cheating. Who would have guessed? So let's get into it. VGC cheating. To celebrate the conclusion of Scarlet and Violet Series 1, we have analyzed over 100 rental teams posted by the community from various official events, community tournaments, and general online ladder teams. More free hack checks, not much has changed. So despite more accessible training in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the overall rate of cheating is similar to Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's what I've been saying for many years now. Felicify is always right. Most competitive Pokemon are cheated at this point. People get more access to bots, people get more access to just hacking tools, more hack switches. It only gets worse over time, even as the quality of life in the game gets better. And then you realize, oh, cheaters are scumbags. Of course you're never going to win against someone so dishonest, because it started as,
Well, it's impossible to train Pokemon legitimately, so you have to cheat to be competitive.
now every generation, and even like every Pokemon game since Pokemon Black and White, has made it less and less of an argument for cheating because it became easier and easier. Destiny not? Cool. Hyper training, mints, all these other things? Yeah, there's no excuse. But people still cheat. And now with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it's kind of flipped the other way. Oh, it's so easy, it's so quick to train in Scarlet and Violet that now cheating doesn't give an advantage, which is still a lie. Hacking gives major advantages, which is why we see primarily hack teams winning and topping all these events. Wow, cheating is wrong, and the Pokemon community still struggles with it. So, it gets even more interesting. The usual rental code dodging is still prevalent. People are not posting rental codes because all the rental teams are hacked and Kurt keeps on catching them, so now they're just posting pastes of their team. Or they'll show like the rental code, or like not the rental code, but the rental team picture and then leave out the code. Hopefully we shift back to intended in-game rental code sharing in the future, and then kind of talk about how this happened for the 2022 World Championship, where most teams were hacked. Also, it's very important to note that a team showing OK can still be hacked. Kurt has acknowledged this. That just means the Pokemon is 100% hacked, completely impossible, something like Wolf, Glix, Galarian, Moltres, that had bad location memory and bad RNG values. Also, there's some other things we're going to get into about Pokemon just not being possible with the intricacies of Pokemon spawning and IVs and stuff like that. So we have miscellaneous teams that were posted, Battle Stadium Season 1, Regionals, and then a little bit from Season 2. But it's kind of crazy. Over 500 people entered San Diego Regionals, and only 12 potentially legitimate teams have come from that. And then half of the ones that were posted just had completely hacked Pokemon, and then other top competitors are just hiding their rental teams because they don't want to get caught for hacking. Liverpool had a majority. And then even if you go onto the Battle Stadium, tons of hacked teams. So what Pokemon are being hacked and who's hacking them? Oh, Shiny Pokemon and VGC finalists. Both finalists in the first official VGC tournament had hacked teams. First place, height, weight, scale, sharing all these values, bred on the same day, statistically impossible, bad identical nickname Trash Bites, and then untraded eggs with Trash Bites as well. Wow, so the shiny Pokemon have hacked data. Big surprise. And now this is where it gets interesting. Most legal teams did not use 3 PP ups for every move. You can't use Quick Attack 48 times in a single battle. Although PP ups are only 10k each in game, a fully maxed team needs 72 of them. Mint's Ability Capsule patch still require a hefty time grind for items or money. Average is 50 PP up a team. Verlisify is always right. It's nuts that even with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet making it easier, it still takes dozens of hours to get a competitive team, which leads to an advantage for people that are cheating. And we have crazy information coming from all of this as well, that PP ups are purchasable for 10k each. Therefore, you can't use a PP max team as a sign that someone is cheating anymore, right? Wrong. Over 2/3 of max PP teams are cheated. And then people still say, oh, well, not all full shiny teams are hacked, when it's easier to max PP a team than to get shinies, let alone max PP shiny teams. Yeah, everyone's cheating. And people still get upset when I call it out, when it's blatant, like on full shiny teams, and now even max PP teams. Wild. Also, both finalists in the most recent official VGC tournament in Liverpool had hacked teams. First place, 6IV Golden Go, others genned with their OT, edited Indeedee, and trade bot Pokemon for second place. Wow, having more time and resources through hacking to get a competitive advantage matters, which is why we keep seeing all the cheaters get top in the events, like what we saw with the 2022 World Champion, also many other participants at Worlds. First place, Salt Lake City Regionals last year. We also had this one. This was a huge one. So we had Players Cup 4, all of the top Players Cup 4, as well as a lot of top at pretty much any other VGC event, all cheated. Wolfey VGC, the 25th Invitational, all the top players are cheating, and that's confirmed through these hack checks. First and second at San Diego were okay. Third place at San Diego was cheated. Now, Chupa Cross got second place, but he's already been connected to all of this cheating, and I showed that back in 2016. So, like I said earlier, just because a team shows is okay, doesn't mean it isn't hacked. It's still very likely to be hacked, because that's what all of these top events have shown. And also what I've shown in the past is that Europe has a lot more hacking, or a lot more like blatant open hacking than we see in North America, which could also show why like Liverpool, all the finalists got taken out, but in San Diego, Kurt's on the hunt. Wolfey got exposed. A lot of other players have gotten exposed. I'm out there on the hunt as well. So because of that, they're going to be more careful, and they're not going to make the mistakes that are getting other people caught, but they're still hacking their teams. And this is where it gets spicy. In Scarlet and Violet, there's no mechanics to increase IVs in wild Pokemon, yet many players had wild Pokemon with 6 flawless IVs. No hyper training. Half the teams with Golden Go were hacked. 22 of the 25 had natural IVs. Look at that luck! 1 in 4 billion. Wolfey VGC is back at it again, I see. So Golden Go is the most hacked Pokemon, and since you can't breed it, you can't really like manipulate the 0 IVs, so that's still going to be a lot of time saved in just hacking in a 0 attack IV Golden Go, which gives a competitive advantage against non-0 attack IV Golden Go, and like half of them being hacked. That's also spilling into just the metagame feeling trash on the battle spot, because half of the Golden Go you faced, you wouldn't have even gone up against. Even then, I'd say most of the Golden Go you faced, you would not have gone up against because they wouldn't have existed without hacking. So it's extra annoying that the most annoying competitive Pokemon is that way because of hacking, and you also have to consider the amount of time saved with all of these wild Terra types that people are throwing out, so we wouldn't have that much destabilization if it wasn't for hacking. It also confirms a lot of other weird things, like 2 shiny Pokemon plus a Golden Go in the Battle Stadium. That's a hack team. It's going to get even worse with Paradox Pokemon that kind of have the same thing going on as Golden Go. Those are going to be hacked, especially the shiny ones. What about tournament rewards? For the teams sampled from Series 1 tournaments, more prize money and championship points went to those with hacked teams than those with legal teams. Small sample size because over 90% of VGC players are cheating and they're not posting their teams because of it, but it's not a good look when more prize pool and championship points go to rule breakers than those who didn't cheat. But we already know this with Wolf Glick, and the only reason why it's skewed is because Chupacross hacked his team in a way that wouldn't be detected. So it also easily skews and swings back, and we see the same thing with the championship points, and then more data and information. Until next time, see ya. This is not April Fool's, and cheating is not a joking matter, but Kurt has updated with more information about how much hacking is going on in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC cheating. Scarlet and Violet Series 2 recently concluded. No change to the overall trends of dishonest players, sloppy hacks, and pointless and ineffective hack checks. Let's take yet another look at cheating in competitive Pokemon. So now having a large sample size of over 300 teams to find that most of them are blatantly hacked, and still, like, anything that flags as legal could still be hacked, just hacked in a not detectable way, and that is also very likely, and we're going to get into that. So, since the conclusion of Series 1 in January, we continued collecting publicly shared rental teams for online and tournament play. Same as the previous tweets, we still see about half of the teams having illicitly obtained Pokemon, and a lot of those have it to where, like, the winners of regional events are cheating. And even, like, past ones, you know, we have Wolfey VGC, 100% proven liar and cheater at this point, so that's not legit. Same thing for 13 Yoshi 37. That's Marcus, Wolfey's cheating teammate from 2016. And also, Marcus just kind of confirmed as a liar as well, and a career-long cheat. So, he did an interview with I'm Blissey. I pretty much debunked everything Blissey said in that video. If you haven't seen this video, check it out after watching this one. So, as far as I remember, I didn't obtain the Pokemon in-game myself, but had people help me do that. So, that was for the 4 to 5 weeks for making the 2016 Worlds team, where he got 3rd place. I used to RNG in Generation 4 and Generation 5, so still a cheater, but as far as I remember, I didn't do it in Generation 6. RNG did not exist during Generation 6, so this is just like a lie, a clear lie, and you can see that. It was like, well, I don't remember, but if it did not exist, you would remember. So, yeah, just, again, we have more lying and cheating scum. Great. And then we also have, and then, like, you can see a lot as well, where people aren't even posting their teams anymore because they cheated it and they're going to get caught for that. So there's also that, and Chupacross, also another just career-long habitual cheater for Pokemon, and it gets even better / worse. To highlight one team from the 350 team dataset, here is this guy's first place team from Vancouver. So Vancouver Regionals, first place, hack team. It's almost like cheating gives an objective advantage, which is why only the cheaters are winning. So Fluttermane with 6 perfect IVs, maximum scale, along with other flaws. Teammates are mutated from each other, height, weight, size, sharing, among other impossible features. So they all have the same height, weight, and scale, which is pretty much impossible. And then we can see for the Fluttermane, wild 6 IV, 1 in 700 billion odds Fluttermane. Even the easiest shiny Pokemon to get in the history of Pokemon, because of the ghost shiny food bug, hacked. They can't even be bothered to spend the 10 minutes to get a normal competitive Pokemon. But once again, Verlisify always right. Shiny Pokemon are still 99% hacked to not being hacked, and a full team of shiny Pokemon means the dude is hacking, or even a majority team of shiny Pokemon. Oh man, he's got the one non-shiny look legit. Nah, clearly hacking because of all the shinies and all this other stuff. So that's like another interesting thing that was kind of on the come up is, okay, with Paradox Pokemon and Golden Go, you can't get them in the wild, so you can't have the natural IVs. At least hack that properly, right? Can't even do that. So 508 EVs the entire team. Verlisify always right. That is a clear sign, completely indicative of cheating. And then 3-3 PP ups the entire team, level 100 the entire team. And then there's like other notes about reading the Google Doc. I'm going to do that for another video to really just have like the uber hack analysis all condensed into its own video. Lilligant has Breakthrough Trash Bites. That's new. Which is Torkoal's name. Wow. Same for Dragonite plus King Trash Bite sharing, mutated from other Pokemon for all 4 eggs as the same team is obviously Gen. So I tried to make it look like from an egg, but then hacked in all the things for the egg Gen. Alright. Another overcooked team is Cortex VGC. Never heard of them, but let's see what we got. top 16 Dallas, top 8 Collinsville, top 16. Top players, top 4 Vancouver. You gotta cheat. It's all cheating. Cheating gives an advantage, which is why it's impossible to compete as a legitimate player until something is done about this. 9th place, Charlotte team. Similar deficiencies. Team is definitely a statistical outlier. Other competitors must have a skill issue and simply can't catch perfect wild Pokemon. Boom. Exact. Never mind. Yeah, I was wrong. This guy's just so lucky to once again be able to have a 1 in 550 billion catch on the shiny. I forget what that thing's called. But yeah, look at that. Look at all those IVs. Amazing. Everything 508, 33, no caps. Yeah, see, no bottle capping, so on the perfect IVs. 1 in 27. Personality mark on top of it. We've got Wolfey's Moltres back at it. 164th for min-max scale. And then, hey, look at all these other hacked Pokemon, and they're shiny. Full shiny team, the one non-shiny for plausibility, and still a thing. Also, the marks plus the maximum scale and stuff, like, it's just wild. 1 in quintillion trainer information. Cool. Something Terra Raid. Those are still being hacked and distributed. It's just bad. I think the big thing about this one is that, like, the Pokemon size, it's either minimum size or maximum size on top of being a shiny with natural 31 IVs and a mark and all kinds of other nonsense going on. There's the 508 EV flag again. Yeah, we just got cheating. As previously shown, the distribution of prize money and championship points indicates that 40% or more of prizes is awarded to cheaters. Now it says being skewed because Wolfey won an event, but he's a cheater. We also have the same thing for Marcus and others. So if you actually, like, remove, or if you flip it for the historical proven cheaters as well, like, yeah, it's like 90% is going to cheaters. But going off of the indisputable Generation 9 data alone, 40% or more of prizes are awarded to cheaters. This number is likely an underestimate because fewer top-placing players are sharing their rental teams, perhaps to avoid incriminating themselves. So yeah, we're also seeing that. Like, we're seeing less distribution of rental teams over time. This also happened for the breakdown of the 2022 World Champion, proven cheater as well. So we have this from the 2022 Worlds Update. Since we've been observing rental codes since the game released in 2019, we can plot the rental IDs against date time since they were shared online. Interesting to note, there was a huge amount of team sharing when the game first came out. Likely because of 2 reasons. People were playing the game on release. Players had not yet accumulated enough in-game resources to have perfect teams. As the player base decreased and those remaining built up their resources, teams became less shared. The upload rate stayed steady from March until June 2021, started tapering off as there were no tournaments in 2022. When events returned in February 2022, the rate shot up as players developed the meta and then went back to a low rate. Many of these tournaments happening, we should be seeing a higher rate of rental uploads, but we see the otherwise because players didn't want to reveal spreads, or players with illegal teams were spooked into posting the PokePaste or codeless due to previous tweets starting in August last year. And that was the one where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Wolfey confirmed hacker. Also, all of the Play Pokemon 25th Anniversary Invitational people were cheating. Same thing for Players Cup 4, same thing for all the Players Cup. So yeah, it's like, boom, all these people playing, and then we see a little bit of a jump from, like, regionals becoming a thing again. But then, oh wait, never mind, people were getting caught more and more, and then just, like, very little sharing, and then they also just would put the team up, but they wouldn't give any rental code. So now we're seeing the same thing with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There's still a high demand for rental teams, and a lot of people posting rental teams, but they are hiding the code, and they are not doing anything. Also, it's open team sheets for Pokemon VGC in Generation 9, which means, like, you have no reason to not share your rental team for the having your spread revealed. I discussed the barriers that players face obtaining teams legitimately and frustrations, also forecasting for future years and consoles. Thank you to everyone who has shared rental teams. Exactly. Thank you for sharing. We wouldn't know all of this without you and your cheating. Like I said, I will be talking about this Google Doc in another video. I want to just get this information out there, talking about how, oh yeah, once again, all the top players, proven cheats, Oh, I wonder why it all skews to the same cheaters over and over again, winning or topping in events. We all saw this with Players Cup 4, where just like, boom, the entire top 16 that posted caught cheating. And then, again, all of the invitational players for 25th. And then just every world champion that isn't Japanese. And even then, there's a lot of questionable Japanese players out there. So there we go, guys. Hope you all enjoy the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. What does Kurt have for us today? More Pokemon VGC cheating, where the Sydney regional champion is a confirmed hacker. The stupidity of the Pokemon community to deny that cheating gives an advantage. It just gets worse and worse as we have more stuff like this to where you cannot win without cheating. That has been proven time and time again. Every non-Japanese world champion is a confirmed cheater. Every popular VGC player, like Wolfey, is a confirmed cheater. And now it's gotten so bad that no one is posting their teams because they're all getting caught, but we also have people like Paul Chua, confirmed cheater. Azazel, confirmed cheater. And then others, even though it kind of like flags as a legitimate team, we know they have cheated in the past, like Marcus, like Wolfey. You cannot win without hacking Pokemon, because it turns out having hundreds of hours of experience over an opponent is a competitive advantage. So let's see what happened with the Sydney Regional Champion. Champion with an obvious generated team, 6 IV wild encounters, yeah, that just never happens, 4 different trainers with the exact same default trainer ID. Remember 993401. So that's a new kind of cheating weirdness that seems to be popping up, to where they have different trainer names but the same IDs. Also 508 EVs, which we have already confirmed for a long time now that this is a very strong sign of cheating, because the cheating programs don't put in the unnecessary EVs. Hartford Regionals Champion did not share their winning team's code, so we have this person right here. I wonder why. Oh, it's because they're cheating like everyone else. Their other rentals from Season 6 are Gen, lack of hyper training, and mints. Also, we have signs of trade botting. All were sourced from the same original trainer, but different game versions and 508. Like, with how much this has been catching cheaters, you'd imagine it would change, but no, it doesn't. Portland Regionals, second place, 6 IV wild captures, no RNG manipulation, 1 was generated with their original trainer. That way they can just point to it and be like, see, I'm not just sourcing hacked Pokemon that are unchecked, one of these is mine. Nope, all are gen hacked, because you can't get 6 IV wild captures. That RNG just does not exist. 32 to the power of 6 is 1 in a billion. Not when hyper training exists, but they're just getting like emboldened with their cheating because they know they're not going to get caught. But also the weird thing is they're scared of getting caught, because we can see that team sharing has plummeted because so many people are getting caught with cheats. Pretty common to see generated Pokemon get last minute move changes and not get 3-for-3 PP ups for that move. Inconsistency is suspicious. Yet we're also seeing just like a lot of lazy cheating over the last forever when it comes to Pokemon. And now this is where things get pretty wild. In the Korean Trainers Cup for 2023, 3 of the top 4 players who qualified for the final round shared rental teams. First place deleted the rental team after getting disqualified. So in Asia, where this is actually taken seriously, the cheaters get disqualified. So much like how we saw everyone cheating, including Wolfey, for the 2020 Players Cups, it's still happening for the Korean and Asian Trainers Cups as well. So 3rd and 4th place shared their rental teams and had Gen Pokemon. 2nd place didn't share code. Guess who wins the finals because of 1st place getting disqualified? You can't win without cheating. Top 4 of the Korean Trainers Cup, all cheating. The difference is it's actually punished in Asia. It's illegal in Japan. If you get caught cheating a Japanese Pokemon tournament, you have to refund the prize money. Now, people are saying a lot of things like, oh, we can't wait to see what happens with Worlds being in Japan this year and everyone getting caught. I don't think it's going to be like that dramatic, but just kind of like shows the difference. That people say, oh, if there's nothing wrong with cheating, then why don't players get punished? They do. The problem is with the Pokemon Company International, it's all corruption. We have cheaters like Aaron Zhang, like Ray Rizzo, looking out for their friends like Wolfey, so it's all corrupt. We have the director for global esports of the Pokemon Company doing nothing about the 100% confirmed cheaters in these events. People will then say that the rules need to be changed, but that will never happen because the developers are against cheating. Surprise! Game Freak and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company does not want you hacking their game under any circumstance, which is why cheating is wrong. And then it also gives a massive advantage. You can further prove this with a simple question. Why does Wolfey lie about his cheating if there's nothing wrong with it? These are the rules. They are clear-cut. There is no ambiguity. There is no such thing as a legal hack. There is no such thing as a legal genned Pokemon. The use of external devices, such as a mobile app, to modify or create items or Pokemon in a player's battle team is forbidden. That's it. Any modification, Pokemon is immediately illegal. That's it. End of story. Doesn't matter if the Pokemon is traded for either. And we are only seeing these issues outside of Japan, so then there's like a lot of deeper corruption and obscuring all of this like insane cheating that just never stops from the rest of the Pokemon Company. But again, we are also at least seeing punishments, and then that further debunks the idiots that say hacking Pokemon is not cheating because we have seen punishments. They prop up these players, and when it turns out that they're liars, cheaters, and thieves, you gotta cover it up or else your whole scene is going to collapse. Then people say, well, yeah, you can't punish cheaters or you lose everything. Well, that's what needs to happen. That if your scene only exists because of cheating, it doesn't deserve to exist at all. And then with Regulation D, external game transfers will be legal for tournament play. Certain species that are tedious to obtain, Zero IV Enamorous, will likely amplify a player's desire to break the rules and obtain generated teams. I expect fewer high-performing rentals going forward. And we've already seen a major hacking problem with tedious Pokemon. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there's no mechanics to increase IVs in wild Pokemon, yet many players had wild Pokemon with 6 flawless IVs. So that was happening back in the beginning of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's still happening now. And then just like this crazy stat that makes everything make sense, half the teams with Golden Go were hacked. 22 of the 25 were naturally 6 IV, including the 0 on the attack. It's not possible. So if it felt like the meta was destabilized day one because everyone just somehow had a perfect competitive Golden Go, that's because most of them were hacked. And the same thing was going on with the Paradox Pokemon. This also shows how cheating ruins the game for everyone, including cheaters, that if you hack Pokemon and you complain about the state of the meta, you are the problem, because the game does not have the capacity for this fast of development. It should not be a 0 IV Golden Go in every game. It should not be if you have some kind of like small problem with your team or Pokemon that you can immediately just make a new team to then change the meta every couple of minutes. This problem has been very apparent in recent Pokemon games like Pokemon Sword and Shield, and especially with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that there's like daily meta changes, if not just like multiple times a day. There's major shifts in what people are running because they're just hacking brand new teams. So it's impossible for the legitimate player to keep up, and then that gets even worse inside of VGC. And then keeping up with cheating, giving an advantage, and then tracking the prize money. Most of the prize money, most of the winnings in VGC are going to cheaters, once again further proving that it's a problem. It just keeps on going, it's not changing. But I have always done the right thing when it comes to Pokemon, and I will continue to do the right thing when it comes to Pokemon. Cheating is wrong. Lying is wrong. Stealing is wrong. Most of the Pokemon community struggles with those facts, but I will not cave. Eventually, this will get a mainstream pickup. Eventually, someone will care, and then maybe we'll actually be able to play Pokemon. Because, like, Pokemon's dead. Pokemon's dead in the West. No one wants to play it because everyone's getting cheated against, and then the only people defending it are the scumbag cheaters. This is the only form of competition in all of sports and esports where cheating gets so much support, and then we don't have a scene because of it. It sucks, but at least Kurt is still finding more evidence and finding more cheaters, including first place regional champions. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. The Pokemon VGC community continues to be the worst. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This is why we can't have nice things. So the post is how we got disqualified for playing Metronome, then a big breakdown as to what happened. Problem didn't mention that everyone involved is cheating. Get top 4 with obvious gen team. Friend number 1 gets disqualified for undisclosed reason. For finals, submit another obvious gen team with metronome, and then complain when you have your World's Day 2 invite stripped away, as well as having the finals of the event canceled, because after cheating, you are making a mockery of the scene, which blatantly violates tournament rules. That's the problem with the Pokemon VGC community. They are so entitled, they're so bratty, they don't think the rules apply and that there's no consequences for breaking the rules that exist. Here's the team one of the guys locked in. Other 3 people have locked in similar teams in their respective styles. That's it. It's only hacked Pokemon that know metronome. And they're surprised that the finals are being canceled and they're all getting disqualified for throwing games? In any other esport, this is literally considered match fixing, and the Pokemon community is too toxic to understand that. We've seen this in League of Legends, that you can't do some kind of protest team with troll picks, or you can't play an ARAM in a professional game, because that violates all competitive integrity. This actually can go directly against the rules of Play Pokemon. It's literally against the rules as unsporting conduct, and this is the direct VGC rules. So 5.4.4, unsporting conduct, we have severe disqualification. Infractions in this category have a serious impact on event operation or integrity. Yes, that is a clear violation of integrity when it comes to games, especially if you're trying to make a protest as a part of the streamed finals. How do you think you're going to get away with that? Determining the outcome of a match by random means. There it is. Severe unsporting conduct, disqualification. Using only metronome, even though it's a game mechanic, as a way of determining a match outcome is against the rules. And that's before we get into all the other disruptive behavior that is deliberately being caused by these actions. So let's see what these brats are actually protesting. The first page doesn't really have anything on it, and then we gotta go down here to see what's going on. So Blue, Sangyun, me, and Mija were the top 4 of the second ladder tour, which meant we secured day 2 invites. In order to do that, we had to show up for the Trainers Cup final round, a stream match. It's just a final round that decides 1st through 4th with some nice prizes, but we're already locked in for day 2, so not much was at stake. And remember, these are confirmed cheaters that are locking in for the World Championship. Again, just kind of going back to all the major problems that we have with all the cheating in VGC. So we have cheaters crying about this and then getting disqualified, and then crying about getting disqualified. The 4 decided to go on a metronome battle to protest against the issues within our community. No IRL events. There's no need for IRL events when it comes to Pokemon VGC. All it does is limit accessibility and contribute to having the worst championship point system in all of esports. And that's like a weird thing, like how are you protesting this? How are you making your cause known? By running a metronome team that you're upset with IRL events. Now there are constant problems in the online tour system, and that does need to be addressed. But eventually there have been ways of this getting sorted out, and that's why there was a second ladder tour. Disregarding younger divisions, I mean, if it's not popular and it's all hacked Pokemon anyway, why do they need to support younger divisions? And then absurd compensations for the problems they cause. So they want to be entitled to more stuff when there's sometimes a problem in the tour system. And that's why they are match fixing a finals event. Yeah, that doesn't track. During this week, Pokemon Korea suddenly sends an email to Blue disqualifying him without telling him why. When he called to ask why, they refused to answer. Okay, you got disqualified. Maybe don't be a cheater, but no VGC players know how to do that anymore. They gave us day 2 to Betago. Betago agreed with the 3 of us, so the metronome battle was to proceed. We had to lock in an in-game online tour system beforehand, so we did that yesterday, and then we were supposed to battle on the 4th. Today, all 4 players were sent an email along with the notice on the official website informing us that all 4 were disqualified. Again, for breaking the rules. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What is everyone upset about? And then we even have Sejun Park, chiming in. Now remember, Sejun Park, even though everyone loves him for his Pachirisu, he is a historic cheater as well that has used hacked and modified Pokemon. So his accomplishments actually don't matter. He is just a fraud like every other Pokemon VGC player. The current state of Korean Asian VGC operation is a ridiculous mess. Pokemon Company is showing absolutely no respect to players who love and care about VGC. I don't know how you can say you love and care about something if you deliberately break the rules and then you try to stage protest, especially if you're just like a cheater the entire time. So that's a lie. DQing is all the real response we've gotten throughout the years. Then follow the rules. It's not hard. Actually, it's very hard for Pokemon VGC players. We desperately need help, communication, and change. Hear us, Pokemon Company. No, please, Pokemon Company, keep walling out these cheating losers. That's what I love about Japanese companies, and at least most of what we see from the Pokemon Company. Pokemon Company International is just like complete corrupt garbage, but the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, they seem to hold relatively strong. So that's just a weird thing about the toxicity in the Pokemon community. These kids get so entitled, so bratty, that they just cannot function when it comes to anything, that they get deranged and then just make stupid decisions. You need to find a rule-following way to protest if you feel your issues are valid, but this just seems like senseless and needless crying, and it's coming from proven cheaters anyways, led by a guy that says they're a manager for Team Korea VGC. So we just have the manager of a cabal of cheaters now trying to stage some kind of protest and then getting upset when they get disqualified for that protest. Again, after just leading, hacking, and cheating for multiple Trainer Cup events and then ruining the integrity of Korean Pokemon VGC. We also have a Victory Road partner, so just kind of showing how everything is corrupt. And this is going to be one of those rare times where I say the Pokemon Company isn't really at fault here. Yeah, you have some online event hiccups, but those are still, like, being dealt with, at least, so that's cool. And then the players are getting way too upset about it because, again, the Pokemon community is irredeemably, irreparably toxic. And like I said, it's mostly the Pokemon Company International that's the problem, and then they, like, obscure all the issues with the Pokemon Company. So there's only, like, so much that the Asian side of the Pokemon Company can get access to, and that's why we're not seeing enough proper punishments. But hey, when they crack down here, it's only a good thing. So tell me what you guys think about this whole situation. Did you get caught up in the viral noise? Did you actually think there was some kind of problem going on here, but you were lied to by the Pokemon VGC propaganda? Were you aware of the rules, or was this one of those things where it's like, yeah, I've been in esports for a while and I actually have an IQ above room temperature, so this is clearly rule violating and has like that match fixing to it? There is no scenario in any world where this behavior should be tolerated in a competitive scene. And does the fact that they're all cheaters hurt their argument even more? Comment your thoughts down below if you enjoyed the video, because we're actually seeing VGC players getting punished, which is only a good thing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and comment your thoughts down below. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. The first Pokemon VGC 2024 International Championship was filled with cheaters. Who would have guessed? And there's some crazy stuff coming from the event. So top 8 happened, and then people were wondering, wait, what happened with Marco versus Yuya? They said Yuya got disqualified due to a team issue. Not sure what the problem was, and to find out the problem, Yuya took to Twitter and asked for a hack check of the rental team. It's insane what the current state of VGC is after the Major Worlds crackdown, because it turns out everyone has been cheating in VGC forever, over a decade of only hacked Pokemon succeeding because the entire thing is a sham and play Pokemon is corrupt. And then it finally goes to Japan and everyone gets caught, and now we've just seen like the most insane progression, because it used to be no one's cheating, you're crazy and an idiot for Lisify, to some people are cheating but it's not bad, and now it's everyone's cheating, here's why it's a good thing. The meme. I don't believe it. And then we also had it, you know, for Pokemon World, stories like this coming out from regional champions instructing people how to hack their Pokemon and not get caught, and then admit to using hacked Pokemon at Worlds, and that's just everyone right now. No bans, no punishments. And you know what happens? People in top 8 getting disqualified for hacked Pokemon because the entire scene is filled with cheating. Tweeting Caphonics, even. It's insane. Matt coming in and also dropping it, so now we're getting multiple layers of hack checks. It's gone from free hack checks to requested hack checks. A lot of problems with the team. Shared original trainer data. Underlying Pika Hex trash bites. All met on November 13th, 2023. Nice luck. No Pokemon home trackers, and that is the big one that's catching people. But hopefully, like, we're seeing an improvement to the hack check. As time goes on, maybe Game Freak is catching on, maybe the Pokemon Company is catching on, and they're starting to, like, do things that are more than just home tracking. Because as we've seen, people are now catching on to that part and instructing, like, how to not get caught. All cosmetic ribbons, why waste time getting the item finder mark? 508 EVs, PP Max, all moves. And it's not just me saying this. It's not just Kurt showing that this is a sign of hacking, but, like, that's what everyone is saying now, because you don't naturally have all of your Pokemon 508 EVs, and you don't need to PP Max all of your moves. And then we have Kurt's data from the entire 2023 season, and also previous VGC seasons where, yeah, those things are actually a sign of likely hacking, and that's how I busted Wolf for his hacked Galarian Moltres before these free hack checks were even a thing. I saw Wolf's team and went, that's a little suspicious. A cosmetic mark on a legendary Pokemon that still need to have ideal IVs, and then like a lot of 508 and just things that didn't add up. Oh, it turns out the Pokemon were hacked, and he also hacked other Pokemon later that season. Great. And because the Pokemon VGC community is all hacking and all in support of cheating at this point, they just don't get it. It's another thing that I've been pointing out throughout the year, where anyone that's actually played the games wouldn't encounter any of these problems that everyone's crying about. Oh man, I need to get Urshifu, but I have to get the previous generation game that sold 26 million copies and the DLC to where it takes less than 2 hours to reset for an Urshifu. These brats don't even play the games, and then they also can't even describe how you obtain legitimate Pokemon with a top VGC player talking about breeding Goldengo. The literal only thing you've said here that makes sense is the trash bites, even though the whole thing for Pokemon Worlds was home data and not even any of the other trackers of a hacked Pokemon. All the other stuff is not concrete evidence. As to the team being Gen, a little silly to mention, we really wouldn't be a good competitive player if we didn't PP max our Mons, except you're all just hacking them anyways, and you don't need 48 whatever for a doubles match, especially because like the whole timeout strategy hasn't come into play for a long time now. But at least Matt is also schooling these idiots. Please go ahead and elaborate on how you can get a Tornadus and an Urshifu in Scarlet and Violet without Pokemon home data. I'd love to know. The rest is highly improbable. Why would someone go out of their way to breed a Grookey in Scarlet and Violet, send it back to Sword and Shield Battle Tower just for the ribbon? And that's just another thing about the entire history of VGC. If a player is using an even slightly unlikely Pokemon, it just turns out it's always hacked, because it doesn't do anything for competitive, so why disadvantage yourself for hours of gameplay for no reason, and then still try to be a top player? Also, that Rillaboom lacked a home tracker, which is a red flag because it's impossible to get that ribbon without using Pokemon Home to go back to another game. No shortage of idiots in the Pokemon community. Is 6 IVs, 508 EVs, and PP Max suspicious? Yes, Kurt's data showed that 508 EVs plus max PP Max is going to be 99% hacked team, and then these are natural 6 IVs, so just not feasible at all. And then we got Paul Ruiz coming in, a confirmed cheater from the Pokemon 2018 World Championship. He's actually the former world champion, but he hacks his Pokemon and then is defending it. I'm surprised you think nowadays 508 EVs and PP Max all moves are suspicious. I guess we have to pull out Kurt's data for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because Paul Ruiz is saying we have all of these tools, so you can't say this about VGC players. Count of team members with max PP Max. Oh, look at that. And these are from people that are posting rental codes, but we've been seeing less and less rental teams posted because of everyone getting caught whenever they post them. So these numbers are going to be deflated for cheaters and still overwhelming. Count of team members with 508 EVs. Yeah. It also doesn't even have to be 6 Pokemon. You have 5 Pokemon 508 and then 1 you overcapped. No, still hacked. Same thing over here to where it's still going to skew towards having mostly PP Max Pokemon. So nope, that doesn't hold up, Mr. Cheater. And here's where the International Championship gets extra disgusting, because we have the Play Pokemon Twitter tweeting about the event and highlighting confirmed cheaters of the past. There's Paul Ruiz, and they're talking about him. We also have Carson Confer. Yo, OG Verlicify fans, leave a like, comment down below. You remember this guy, right? Pokemon 2016 VGC Senior Division World Champion, also tons of other top placements, actually got disqualified from an event for having hacked Pokemon. Then he went private, went underground. Oh, and we got another nostalgia callback here. In case you missed it in the beginning of the video, Joshua Lorsey is back, gets top 8, even though used a Beast Ball Porygon, which could only exist through hacking, kind of actually being like one of the OGs kicking off this entire like catching cheaters in Pokemon VGC. So he's back at it. And then Guillermo, our boy Casti from the debate as well as the 2022 Pokemon World Championship second place, who admitted to cheating. It's just all cheaters. So like, once again, it proves hacking gives an advantage. That if you use cheated Pokemon, you are going to top events regularly, and then you're spoiling all the events, internationals included, and then since Play Pokemon is corrupt, they're the ones getting all the features despite being confirmed cheaters. And as I keep on saying, who would have guessed that cheaters are dishonest? They keep getting caught by these vectors, and they keep dismissing it because it's all just bad faith and bad actors. And this backs up an epiphany I had recently after seeing the evil of Pokemon challenges defend lying, cheating, and stealing, also rewarding cheaters by giving them thousands of dollars in prize money for his cheater tournament. And then there was that Polygon article that says, it's okay, everyone cheats in Pokemon VGC, but every pro-cheating argument is invalid because no one's forcing you to play Pokemon VGC. If you can't follow the rules, don't play. It's as simple as that. If you want to enjoy competitive Pokemon, go to Pokemon Showdown. Go to third-party events that allow for cheating inside of Pokemon, but the fact is, no competitive scene can thrive with cheating. No other sport, esport, or game tolerates or accepts cheating on the level that we've seen in Pokemon. By choosing to play VGC, where the rules explicitly state that no genned Pokemon are allowed, regardless of their stats, it proves that cheating is only malicious. Using hacked Pokemon has no defense because it is only about stealing prize money. If it was about it being impossible to compete in Pokemon any other way, again, then there's many other outlets where you can play competitive Pokemon and use your hacked Pokemon. You have no valid protest if you are entering the tournament while breaking the rules. The only valid protest is protesting the event, abstaining until there is change inside of the scene, and then supporting unofficial scenes to have competition because Pokemon's rules are so terrible. But no one's supporting the unofficial events because there's easier money and more money to steal by breaking the rules inside of Pokemon. Yeah, it turns out there's no justification to breaking the rules for any reason. Wow, it turns out cheaters and people defending cheating in Pokemon have no morality and are just straight up evil because they can't follow the rules in a children's game. And we keep seeing this bad faith behavior and corruption time and time again, and just keeps on getting crazier. But hey, more cheaters getting exposed and more pressure on the Pokemon Company might be a good thing to cause all of this to implode, because it keeps on getting crazier and crazier with the articles we're seeing, with how players are responding with hacked Pokemon. After Pokemon Worlds, it's been spilling over into the Japanese side of things, so this is the community sentiment in Japan. It's tough to modify Pokemon these days. Also kind of just showing that the Japanese community has also always been cheating, and you could see that in Pokemon Sword and Shield, where you team peek at the end and go, ah yes, these are just hacked Pokemon, and you're also just kind of seeing like full shiny teams on the battle stadium and stuff. even though it's illegal, people still do it. And there's also been Game Freak making statements about cheaters getting disqualified from their championships and then having to refund the prize money that they stole. So at least Japan is pretty awesome when it comes to that, but it just kind of shows cheaters everywhere. In the community, there's no problem modifying them, but if you don't want to get banned from tournament, you'll have to ask someone you really trust or train them on your own, and that's a problem now. So, like, something's gotta give, right? I don't know, but either way, like, more cheating, and the more that this gets exposed, the crazier people have to get about it until something breaks. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. It has to implode, right? It finally has to implode because we have major esports organizations sponsoring players in Pokemon. Koi! They have a League of Legends European Championship team. So they made an announcement, debut for their boys. You know what happened? They both got disqualified for cheating at the Liverpool Regionals. Even better, co-streamed by a massive Spanish streamer, and it all just went to crap live. This has to be where Pokemon implodes. The crazy thing, we can't get a statement from the Pokemon Company about any cheating, even when the Pokemon 2023 World Championships had a record amount of cheating. So many players disqualified. We don't even know how many Pokemon were removed from teams, and then turned out the world champion was also caught cheating, just dodged the hack check. Insanity happened. So we get a statement from the esports organization. Our two players in the last round have been informed their disqualification from the regional for obtaining their Pokemon through cloning. We're getting more about like Pokemon illegality from esports organizations hiring cheaters than anything else in Pokemon, thus violating the regulations. At no time has it been the intention of players or the club to breach these regulations. Players is a lie, but alright. Thank you for your support. We'll come back stronger. So who are these players? Well, we have a European International Champion and Regional Champion, and Poke Alex has been around for a while. Oh, first place 2023 North American International Championships. Wait a second. That's where the judges said that all the players failed the hack check that ended up dropping at Worlds. They couldn't cancel the top 8 because there'd be no players left. Also, top 16 at the 2024 Latin America International Championships. Great. And of course, they're both followed by Chris Brown. What an amazing scene the head of global esports for Pokemon is running here, huh? All he has to say is the Liverpool Regional this weekend is massive, the largest ever in Europe. 1 week after Charlotte was the largest regional anywhere. Community keeps on growing, so great to see. It's all cheaters. And Wolfey won Charlotte, which should have never happened because he's been proven to cheat so much. He deserves a permaban, and nothing less. Stuff going so out of control, Caphotix had to speak out. With all the supposed improvements to VGC's official legality checks in the past year, why would sponsored players even risk bringing cloned Pokemon? Have you not learned anything? Pokemon Company International is well within their right to enforce the rules of their competition. Stop cheating. And that's because it's a disaster. Pokemon fans are not upset at the cheaters, they're upset at the Pokemon Company for enforcing rules. Today was a day of excitement for Pokemon's VGC, a way to expand, with Necro casting more than 30,000 viewers. What they have done to these two has neither head nor foot. No matter how much we row, it seems that this is not moving forward. Pokemon Company International is a disgraceful company. Wait, that last one. No, the players are disgraceful for cheating. And also, they're not even enforcing enough. These players deserve bans. You get caught at regionals, 1-year ban. You get caught in international, 2-year ban. You get caught at worlds, lifetime ban. That easy. That simple. Instead, we see Gavin Michaels instruct players how to bypass the heck check after getting caught cheating at Pokemon Worlds, only getting a 1-year ban because it was downgraded from a lifetime suspension. The scene is rotten, and it deserves to be completely destroyed. What they have done to these two, disqualifying them from the Liverpool Regional after both having passed to Day 2, being the first Koi tournament, and having an outstanding performance. Very screwed up. And for something that has no influence whatsoever on the competition, from bad to worse, Pokemon. So when cheaters get punished, that's going from bad to worse in Pokemon. That's how fucked the scene is. Also, something that has no influence whatsoever in the competition is just an objective lie. Saving time over an opponent in a way that breaks the rules is cheating by definition. Having more time to practice, having more energy from breaking the rules gives you an advantage over your opponents. That's just a fact. And somehow, disqualifying cheaters means Pokemon doesn't want its competitiveness to grow. Removing cheaters is the only way things can be competitive, but Pokemon, I actually agree, Pokemon will never grow. It does not have the competitiveness to grow, but because it does not ban these cheaters and permanently remove them from competition. And that's why Kurt has to remind everyone the Pokemon Company International is well within their rights to enforce the rules of their competition. And the replies are also just insane. Good luck, guys. I hope Pokemon one day stops being so stubborn and provides more facilities to compete. May today serve to make Pokemon realize how poorly the rules are made, how little they help the competition. There are absolutely no players who come to these types of tournaments having made their team through exchanges or breeding. Everyone uses PK Hex because it saves time to help the competition have a higher level. Saying the quiet part out loud. You called out cheating back when everyone had full shiny teams in Generation 5 and Generation 6 and even up until now. And no, you're wrong. They could have gotten it. The odds are possible. No one's cheating, especially not Wolf Glick. But then it went to, okay, some players are cheating, but it's not that big of a problem, to now, yes, everyone's cheating. Here's why it's a good thing. Holy crap, the meme just becoming the ultimate reality in Pokemon. And now we've hit like that critical overflow where cheaters felt so emboldened that we saw record amounts of cheating at Pokemon Worlds. We have players like Guillermo saying, yeah, at least 98% of players are cheating at Pokemon Worlds, and then defending cheating, and also making a statement about this. 8-1 day 1. Dude should be banned for hacking at Worlds anyways, so alright. Again, just proving me right. Cheating gives a massive advantage because it's only cheaters at the top in Pokemon events. It's impossible to compete and succeed if you're not following the rules, and everyone says that, but apparently it's still wrong to say that. Very sad to hear what happened to Alex, Eric, Albert, and Trosco. More players getting disqualified or having Pokemon removed? Pokemon just shot itself in the foot, and that's because of the Koi stream. And personally, they just ruined the tournament for me. I want to win this regional with the best playing, and tomorrow they won't be there. Wow, look at that. Joseph, confirmed cheater that we've been covering. 8-1 in the top cut, making it to day 2. Then we have Alex making a statement, probably to not immediately get fired from Koi. First of all, we ask for forgiveness. No, cheaters don't deserve forgiveness. But nope, the cheating losers in the Pokemon community, we apparently have a major content creator for Koi saying you have not disappointed anyone. And will support cheaters. Good luck, you're going to end up and rock the next event. Another Koi. And then also kind of showing like, yeah, 30,000 viewers. And they get themselves disqualified, but that's bad on the Pokemon Company. What a scandal. Also, the Pokemon Company streamed players that had Pokemon removed from their team for hacking. So that's really cool. We also have this. They removed my Incineroar and Amoonguss from my regional team, but still kind of saying like, hey, we're winning. Won 5 matches with 4 Pokemon. You're a cheater. You shouldn't be there. You should be banned just for having those Pokemon removed. I don't care. It's all cheaters. That's it. That's all Pokemon is. So after the players were disqualified, stream chat went out of control, went into emote-only mode, where everyone was spamming jail emotes as well as Poke Alex emotes. At that point, you just gotta ban all cheaters. You gotta put your foot down. You can't get bullied by this, because like, congratulations, Pokemon Company. You reap what you sow, and it has now gone like super critical. Also, I pulled this from the stream where, yeah, everything was kind of falling apart with the Coast stream. This was after with like all the cheating and what people were talking about, and the reactions. Also insane. And again, people just kind of saying the quiet part out loud or just being in denial. We have one guy, and they can't prove that they are not cloned in some way. No, that's not how it works. Like, that's why they got disqualified, because it's that egregious of cheating. Then a lot of them are mad because they didn't get disqualified until the hack check happened late in the tournament. We saw this at Pokemon Worlds. It doesn't matter. If you're cheating, you're cheating. They gotta have like some kind of crazy new manual hack check where they actually have to analyze the teams by hand to then find that they are illegal, instead of just like the basic crappy hack check that everyone's already solved when you enter the Pokemon tournament. Then we have Mellow GG. What's the difference if they're cloned? I don't understand. It's cheating. Dude below him, there was not a single Pokemon in the tournament done in a 100% legal way. It's just that, like, see, that's the crazy thing, because cheating is wrong. But then the cognitive dissonance just kind of goes so crazy that no one can admit it, except when there's, like, no stakes in a Twitch chat or in some kind of Twitter reply. But then they also can't admit it because that means they lose all their players and then the entire scene goes to crap. But then at the same time, like, it's just one of those things where, oh, Wolfey didn't cheat, but even if he did, there's no problem with cheating. Like, that's all the statements about it. And it's just that insane. So now we have, like, major esports exposure for Pokemon. Those players immediately get disqualified. There's a crap storm against Pokemon for it, and then who knows what happens now. Surely, this is when competitive Pokemon finally implodes, right? Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Of course there were cheaters at the Pokemon VGC Dortmund Regionals, but this one's even spicier. So we have Pokemon removed, we have the champion getting caught cheating, and now bomb threats. Okay, let's just break down how insane Pokemon VGC has gotten. So Kurt is onto this guy. I've been informed that 2 of my Pokemon have not passed the hack check, and I was not given any explanation why. They were Pokemon bred and captured within the game. There's no such thing as an honest cheater, and we've kind of proven that there's no honesty in Pokemon VGC because they're all cheaters. So yeah, we can't even take that guy seriously. And then Kurt comes in. They were Pokemon bred and captured within the game. Doubtful. Every time someone claims this, we later get to see the team data. It turns out the team was not legitimate and the removal was correct, because that's the new narrative. So we've seen this crazy shift through Pokemon VGC where it's no one's cheating, that full shiny team isn't hacked, they got it all legit, you're just an idiot if you don't believe that the Pokemon were possible. Then it's, okay, people are getting banned and some people are cheating, but it's not that big of a problem. Now it's, everyone is cheating, here's why it's a good thing. But now it's circling back around to, no one's cheating, I'm not a cheater, no one has hacked Pokemon don't exist, the disqualification, it was wrong, it was unjust. So now whenever someone gets Pokemon removed or they get disqualified, they just said like, no, I got my team legit, it's a false flag. So now trying to attack the Pokemon company for actually getting a correct disqualification on people. Looking at shared rental teams from last year, we see multiple illegitimate teams with different Indeedee and Armarouge not reused. Raw team data for these teams is available in my write-up. So, alright, we have more hacked teams from this person in the past. But he's not cheating now, guys. Honest. Why do I post about this? Because players cheating the rules are creating misinformation to deflect blame. Every time this happens, we find that the removal was correct. Surprise Pokemon's gen. Don't like the rules. Complain about it instead. Own the mistakes. So yeah. Well, actually, they are complaining about the rules, and we've been breaking that down a lot. But then they just never own it. It's like, yeah, you cheated. You broke the rules. You got caught. You did the wrong thing. End of story. But not with the derangement of the Pokemon community. So then this guy, it's logical that Lin and other players were using Genmons before Worlds 2023 and then started breeding them after. Except no one, because we're still seeing disqualifications and Pokemon being removed more than ever because the Pokemon company upped their hack check. So just complete insanity. Another cheat supporter, Billa, only way to find out is if he shares the team. No, like he keeps like running cover for all the cheating that's going on in the scene while trying to look professional. Oh, look at that. But then gets a bit more interesting because this guy says, if I get banned again from any Pokemon, I will bomb the Pokemon Company International. That escalated quickly. So if he has any of his Pokemon removed, he's going to bomb TPCI is what he said. And that got him permanently banned from Pokemon VGC. But now, TPCI, the Pokemon Company International, is trending on Twitter because this was an unjust ban, according to the Pokemon community. Today, I was informed that I've been permanently banned from official competitions. The reason is due to threats made online. Yes. Especially about a kid's game. So taking into account the latest tweets I published, I understand that they referred to the tweet which I said if I was banned again, I would bomb it. Well, at least he just owns it right there. First of all, I'm sorry if anyone has interpreted this literally. That's still not something you joke about it. Like, these kids are deranged, and of course he's a cheater as well. Just toxic losers. That was not my intention at all. Not intention to say you're going to bomb a place because you're upset at an action they've taken against you. Alright. Fairly common Spanish meme that seeks nothing more than to make fun by saying an impossible situation. It's just a joke, guys. And it's okay because the Spanish community does it, despite the Pokemon Company International being international. and then having tact and enough comprehension go, maybe I shouldn't make threats online. Something more than to make fun of an impossible situation. I added to the fact I wrote the tweet with several spelling mistakes. That's right. That's what makes it okay. It's even more absurd. I understand seen from outside Spain without understanding that's a Spanish joke. It can be misinterpreted. That's why I saw it necessary to explain the context. Second, I would like to emphasize I'm aware that the tweet was not correct, and as a professional player, I should show exemplary behavior. I've been competing since 2016. Encourage many people. Oh, because he got people to play competitive Pokemon, even though he's just a cheater. So because his cheating has inspired others to become cheaters in this cheat-filled community, he should not be disqualified because people are playing the game because of him and his toxicity. He joined an esports club, so now we have the Koi players getting banned, and it's actually insane. Do everything in my power to solve this situation, be able to continue competing, since that is what makes me happy. I hope I have expressed myself as best as possible, and I apologize to the Pokemon Company and all the people who may have felt offended. With a lot of pain, Alex. Well, let's see why the Pokemon Company International is trending. Today, more than ever, the Pokemon community urgently needs a union! A union! For Pokemon esports! We need a union, so players that are cheating, that are breaking the rules, don't get disqualified. They don't have any unfair action taken against them for using hacks to modify their game against the rules, to defend the rights of players, and then seek together with the Pokemon Company to improve the competitive environment in VGC. Yeah, see, that's right. You need a union so you're allowed to make bomb threats against the Pokemon Company when your hacked Pokemon are caught, and then you try to deny it. Insane. Oh yeah, it gets even better because this person is just a complete insane as well. Not the guy's tweet I just read, but the person that got banned. So yeah, Kurt be like, stop cheating. My brother in Christ, you made PK Hex to not use in official events and steal prize money from other people. Also, after denying it, because remember, that was something he said. He's like, oh, the Pokemon was legit. I captured it in-game. He admitted on stream after having his team removed. I raised and captured them within the game. That's the truth. They're raised and captured. The stats were modified externally. So that's how the Pokemon community is now justifying their cheating, is that I catch the Pokemon game, and then I save edit in PK Hex, and I change the stats. But I still bred the Pokemon. I still caught the Pokemon. And that's another thing where it's like, wait a second. Any VGC player that says they're breeding is blatantly lying, because they have not done anything legitimate in Pokemon so long that they didn't realize that breeding is not the most optimal way of getting competitive Pokemon in Generation 9. And we have people talk about breeding Golden Go. See, they're all cheaters, and they're all liars. And it only gets more and more disgusting, and the behavior just gets worse and worse. Oh yeah, and really quickly, what I said in the intro about the champion of the Dortmund 2024 regionals getting caught cheating. Here it is. Joined the VGC Championship Dortmund server. Immediately realized, definitely jinning Pokemon. In the same Sysbot server as me, mutual servers. Found him in the trade history. Pika VGC, Florian, getting hacked Pokemon. So, another champion caught cheating, because cheating gives such a massive advantage in Pokemon. It's impossible to compete without cheating. Everyone's getting caught cheating. Everyone's getting their Pokemon removed. It's only champions that are... or it's only cheaters getting top placement, top cut, championships, day 2, and all that fun stuff. And then the rest of the community is defending cheating, wanting a union, and then defending bomb threats against Pokemon Company International. My blood boils thinking about the frustration the Pokemon VGC community has to endure during these times, of the love, passion, and effort that players put into hacking the game. There's no... How are they so deranged? I think that cheating is making a more integral Pokemon esports scene and elevating the franchise. Pokemon VGC is doing nothing to grow Pokemon as a franchise, and all the cheating is turning away more players. If cheating was actually banned, like if Wolf gets permanently banned, and we see all these other players that have been caught cheating, if you have a Pokemon removed out of regionals, 1-year ban minimum. If you actually have like a disqualification, 2-year ban. If you get caught cheating at Worlds, that should just be permaban. We don't need cheating scum in the scene. If that happened and we actually saw like bans go through and we saw a proper punishment for Pokemon, we would see the biggest growth ever, because now there's enough integrity to get people going in. You can't have any sport, esport, game, or form of competition thrive and do better when cheating is allowed. The enormous incompetence of the Pokemon Company International sinking any effort, it's not fair. What effort? Cheating is the opposite of effort, by definition. And then, like, all the lying and then disgusting behavior that we see from this. Also, if you need a reminder of Spanish player behavior outside of the Koi-sponsored players getting disqualified at Liverpool for having hacked Pokemon, way back in the day, there was the Pokemon National Championship held in the UK, where the Spanish player, after winning the National Championship, had a poo fight in the hallway. Fucking Christ. This is a clear example of a stupid rule that needs to be reviewed by the Pokemon Company International. You can't give a permaban without first talking to the player. You absolutely can. I wish they did it more even for cheating, but especially in these kind of scenarios. Also, on the stream where he admitted to using hacked Pokemon and lying about it, he also talked about how to dodge the hack check, which is what we saw happen with Gavin Michaels, Pokemon VGC, getting a permaban that was then reduced. So, I mean, like, this player has done multiple ban-worthy actions, and just stupid from the Pokemon Company International. Demanding that they delete and retract it without understanding the context of saying that if you get disqualified, or like if you have Pokemon removed, you're just going to bomb them, is unfair and disproportionate. Anyone know where they can file complaints against Pokemon Company International? Some kind of customer service or something? Because if you receive hundreds of complaints about the issue, may be more useful than posting a tweet of encouragement. So calls to action to brigade the Pokemon Company for one of the most justified bans we've ever seen. The player behavior... I can't believe Chris Brown puts up with this. I can't believe the Pokemon Company puts up with this. Play Pokemon. See, they've gotten themselves too deep. I've been talking about this for a decade, where it's like, you gotta ban all the players now. Especially after the whole Ray Rizzo thing in 2014 Nationals, when he had a Dream Ball Aegislash. Completely impossible Pokemon. Blatantly impossible. You don't have to know anything about the history of ball mechanics inside of it, like his hacked his hacked Politoed that had an impossible Kurt Ball, because, okay, that gets a bit more complicated. But as I've talked about and as we've proven, every regional or every Pokemon event ever, these players do not play the game. They do not understand a single thing about Pokemon legality. I've caught Wolf many times lying about Pokemon legality. Ray Rizzo, everyone. They do not understand legitimacy inside of the game, so all of that just keeps on happening. But back then, I was talking about how they need to do it now before it gets out of control, but they can't. They were already in too deep in 2014, especially in 2016 when they did all those features on Wolf. He ended up winning the World Championships only because he hacked. Without cheating, Wolf never wins the 2016 World Championships. That Raichu was far too powerful and impossible for any legitimate player to obtain. Same thing for the legendary Pokemon. But because Play Pokemon, the Pokemon Company International was corrupt all the way back then, where you just have all the employees looking out and not banning people like Ray Rizzo, instead hiring him for being a cheater. Same thing with Cybertron, hiring all the cheaters, and then letting active friends like Wolfey VGC participate and get away with cheating to then rack up titles and claim prize money. Not claim, steal prize money. Now it's just gotten worse and worse, and then the cheaters have become so complacent now that action is finally being taken against them, even though it's not strong enough action. We need hard bans against these players. They're crying about and complaining about it, and then wanting to unionize and attack the Pokemon Company for it. But now if the Pokemon Company does it, their scene implodes, but it's already imploding off their own behavior, and yeah, complete failure of an esport. And they think they can, like, unionize and form a player union to interact with the Pokemon Company International. So getting caught cheating, getting punished for instructing players how to dodge hack check and making bomb threats. Sure, whatever. This VGC can rot. The Pokemon community can rot. And fortunately, it's starting to, it seems like. The toxicity has finally boiled over. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Pokemon community not lying about hacking challenge. Impossible. So this post is getting a lot of traction on Reddit because a VGC player was disqualified from the Sao Paulo regionals for something not in the rules. Alright, we're going to see about it, but he was disqualified for hacked Pokemon, so the Pokemon Company is getting better with their hack checks. 12 years late, but let's see what ended up happening. So to sum it up and translate the video, since the original is in Portuguese, the player and YouTuber LJ Darkrai went to the Sao Paulo regionals to compete and was 6-1 in the tournament, and then went through a random hack check. The head judge decided to disqualify him with the reason being of having multiple Ogerpon with the same trainer ID in his battle box. Now, the thing is, we don't have official rulings. We are just going by the word of mouth from a cheater, and then the translation of that into the cheat-supporting Pokemon community, which is why this story gets a bit more interesting when you actually look into it. But, yeah, this is like, wait a second, if you have clones of the same Pokemon in your, not even battle box, but also just your boxes in your save file, it means you're hacking. Since before I started making YouTube videos, I've been saying that should be the first thing that should be checked in your save file if you're competing in Pokemon VGC. Just look for the obvious stuff. That if you have two Pokemon with the same secret ID, because it's not just trainer ID, then that means your Pokemon is obviously hacked. Or just any example of matching Pokemon values and statistically impossible occurrences within the Pokemon's hidden values and stuff. Like, it's only going to exist through hacking. I don't think, even with the millions of people playing the game, there's ever been an example of like something that could false flag as a hacked clone Pokemon just through odds. The odds of a trainer ID and secret ID being the same are 1 in 4.3 billion. And that's just between two Pokemon. That happens any more times. Yeah, the player is hacking. We've known this. It's always been only cheating, especially going back to Generation 5 when everyone was just genning their Pokemon. No one was even RNGing because the odds were so astronomical. And even in modern Pokemon, Wolfey, the most popular VGC player, can't even get legal Pokemon himself. So like there's no amount of resources, there's no amount of trading with other people that make something that looks suspicious actually legitimate. No, it's always been hacking the entire time. And even in previous generations, it's 1 in 65,000 squared. So what does that look like? Oh, it's effectively the same number. So people that go, well, it was a 5-digit trainer ID before Generation 7, so that means it was more likely you could have the same ID and secret ID. No, it's actually just always been hacking, like I've said. And that's before we even get into over 90%, if not just 99% of all competitive Pokemon are hacked because of all the trade bots, just people injecting full boxes and full save files of hacked competitive Pokemon, trading them off, and all the other things. Like, yeah, turns out hacked Pokemon can be generated 10,000 times faster than a single legitimate Pokemon, so the odds are going to be 99% of all Pokemon are hacked before we even get into any suspicious stuff. So how's this player getting disqualified for something not in the rules? Like, the rules are pretty clear. No hacking. At all. No genning, no editing, no hacking should ever touch your game ever. That was also reaffirmed by the Pokemon Company years ago when I emailed support and they said, yeah, you can't even breed hacked parents. There's no getting around it. You can't hack and edit your game in any way. You can't generate items. You can't hack in a gold bottle cap to use on your Pokemon or rare candies. All of that immediately makes your Pokemon illegal. It's common sense unless you're a cheating brat. And as we saw in my Counter-Strike cheating video, but this is also just prevalent throughout all of FPS and gaming, anyone that's like, oh, the cheating problem isn't as bad as you say, is actually cheating themselves. And we also see that non-stop inside of Pokemon. The issue arises when the rules use an example, illegal OT and nicknames on the battle team. Specifically, event Pokemon such as Ash's Pikachu can have fixed values, making something different is clearly illegal. So they're just like quoting different rules and saying like, oh, having an impossible Pokemon, like if I have an event Pikachu with my trainer ID and name that was never ever released, yeah, that can only exist through hacking. That's what happened with Wolf's Dream Ball Raichu. The parameters of that Pokemon cannot exist, even though it's just quote-unquote cosmetic, but actually that also proves that cheating is wrong in Pokemon, or genning is not allowed. It doesn't matter if your Pokemon has legal stats, if it has an illegal trainer ID, or OT or whatever because of the event, then that means that Pokemon is not legal. So, like, actually, I should use that argument more. Thank you. Once again, the Pokemon community just kind of, like, pointing things out. Hey, Wolf just timer stalled his entire 2012 season, and that's why he made it to Worlds Finals with a hacked team. Same thing for 2016 Worlds Finals, where he stalled Jonathan Evans. Wait, that was just against the rules, though. So the Pokemon community, in their stupidity and ignorance, just, like, constantly debunks themselves and proves me even more right. Awesome. LJ Darkrai did not have those Pokemon on his battle team. He couldn't even do that because you can't put the same Pokemon twice on the team. Doesn't matter. If you have clones in your save file, that's definitely worth flagging and getting disqualified for because it means you're a cheater. They were found in his battle box, which was never mentioned in the rules. Okay, like, yeah, just don't have hacked Pokemon. We already know this. And again, this has already been punished multiple times this season, and I believe also at Worlds because that's a couple of the anecdotes. Moreover, okay, ChatGPT, trainer ID doesn't prove a Pokemon is illegal. And that goes into, well, this dude's also lying because it checks trainer ID and secret ID, and all of those are the same, we get into impossible odds. While very unlikely, and as we've showed, every single time there's something even slightly suspicious or unlucky when it comes to Pokemon VGC, it's hacked because the baseline of hacking is already insane. And then there's the debate I did with Casty, World's 2022 second place, who admitted over 95% of players are cheating anyways. So yeah, when your baseline of cheating is 95 to 99%, anything suspicious and just like slightly off, oh, it means it's hacked. That's how I busted Wolf. The rest of his team looked inorganic and suspicious, and also as Kurt has shown through his hack checks, that if a player has mostly 508 EV Pokemon, that just never happens organically with anyone training, and then idiots will say, yeah, you can do it, you use feathers, you do this, or I have 508 Pokemon, but then when you actually get down to it, oh, wait a second, no, the data mining actually proves that a vast majority, if not almost all of those teams, are hacked. So cheaters that have never played legitimate Pokemon a day in their life, like Wolf, because he gets so many things wrong about Pokemon legality, keep stumbling into the same problems that show that their team is hacked. So yeah, like the rest of the team was sus, and then I look at the Moltres, it's like, well, you don't get a guaranteed 0 IV somewhere in a legendary, and also that mark just kind of adds it to the odds. It's like, what, 1 in 30,000? Yeah, Wolf ain't doing 1 in 30,000, and it doesn't matter how large he is as a creator or a popular figure inside of Pokemon. Turns out his audience couldn't do it either. Also, full teams of shiny Pokemon, those turn out to be hacked as well, so it doesn't even need to be very unlikely. Just unlikely and slightly suspicious in Pokemon means it's hacked. Especially like when you look at all these players and they constantly get caught cheating and they're always like doing well in events. 6-1 because he's a cheater and nothing else. There's no skill involved in cheating. A captured Pokemon can have the same of this even if they come from different games. Trainer ID is generated offline. Again, it's not likely, but should never be used as proof that something is illegal. Even though, as we showed the odds, like, yeah, this should have been it from day one. This should have been Generation 5 to get rid of all those clones. And that also goes into what busted Sejun Park. His Pokemon were just clones that were posted to Pokecheck. So, once again, like, yeah, we know where they're getting their hacked Pokemon. We all know they're hacking. And it just keeps on going. Also, you look at his video, let's see. Who just has 3 Wellspring Ogerpon? And if you just kind of cloned all of those in PK Hex, they're going to have the same secret ID and other values, as well as like height, weight, and stuff, so then it gets even more astronomical. Yeah, they're cheating. No surprise, nothing here. Absolutely deserved. Now, I don't know what this comment is doing here. Next thing you know, someone's going to uncover several illegal activities happening from within Pokemon Company International HQ, including match fixing and money laundering. I mean, I've already posed that, yeah, it's money laundering to allow cheaters and allow your friends like Wolf Glick to just get away with cheating forever, have such a massive advantage that's just easier to boost through tournaments and then steal tens of thousands of dollars in prize money. Same thing for allowing other people inside. It's like, it's not just Wolf, it's all of Scott Glaz's friends, it's Cybertron, it's all of his friends, it's Ray Rizzo. And then as we've seen, there's like a lot of groups and stuff, Marcus, Billa VGC, and then anyone else. Like, it's all just a massive clique, so they're allowed to cheat, and then that's just going to siphon off millions of dollars to people that are friends with Pokemon Company International employees that are allowed to break the rules. Big day for that guy who lost one VGC game 10 years ago to Timer Stall and now hates VGC players and will use any opportunity to shit on VGC and attract attention to himself. I mean, yeah, this is something I've been saying has needed to happen for the entire time. I didn't also just lose one battle. I lost the PAX battle because Scott Glaza, corruption and all that fun stuff inside the Pokemon Company, forcing a loss upon me at PAX, an unofficial tournament, so that was weird. And I was also going undefeated at VGC until I got timer stalled and colluded against multiple times. At one point, when I was at top table, someone I beat in an earlier round leaned over to his friend and went, timer stall him turn 1. That's just straight up cheating. So yeah, that happened at my first regionals. Also, there's the lie that people keep saying that I went 0-4 in my only regionals. No, I've been to multiple regionals. That there was the one I got timer stalled in, and then there was a Seattle regionals where I was 0-3 drop because I had the flu. And in my first round, I was going to beat someone that got top 8 at Oregon regionals, but I misclicked because I had the flu. They 100% admitted defeat, that I beat them. Also, after digging further, it turns out like they were using hacked Pokemon as well. So like top 8 Orlando regionals in 2015, I believe. Like, oh, they were just cheating too. What's this? Someone being reasonable? I mean, they were obviously hacked. Yeah, that's all it takes. Like, oh, obviously hacked, got disqualified. Literally no problems. Like, you have hacked Pokemon on your save file. That should have always been punishable, again, since day one. Since, like, even before 2012 with Wolf and Ray Rizzo having a hack fest in the finals. 100% I get what you're saying, and they shouldn't be doing it because they want cheating, That's kind of like the different thing. It's like, okay, you wanting cheating and ginning to be legal in Pokemon doesn't change the rules as they exist, and it still means Wolf has earned a permaban for his career of cheating. Person I got it from just happened to have the same trainer details. Statement dreamed up by the utterly deranged. Exactly. Like, see, like, why can't, like, if the Pokemon community was more like this, and we also saw punishments inside of VGC, then we don't have any problems. All these cheaters know they are in the wrong, which is why the cognitive dissonance just destroys them as a person and turns them into idiots. If there's no problem with cheating, why does Wolfey lie? Because he is a proven cheater. Oh, that's because cheating is wrong. Who knew? But then they can't ever admit that. Problem is, they're acting on suspicion, as this is not hard evidence. Except it is. Because, like, this person even acknowledges the SID. And it's going to be multiple Ogerpon. So we're not talking about 1 in 4.3 billion odds between 2 Ogerpon. And also, like, Ogerpon being a special legendary Pokemon, it doesn't mean that you caught 100 or hatched 100 of a Charmander or something, and now you have 2 suspicious Charizards. No, you have legendary special Pokemon that are going to be more likely to be cloned, and then you have 3 of them instead of 2. There's no suspicion. Like, the only answer is hacking, and we learned this with Dream. The judge played God and decided to draw the line somewhere that's not in the rulebook, except it is, because that shows the Pokemon is edited or modified or duplicated entirely by himself. And that's the wild thing about South American Pokemon. They're operating on their own. They're not in the Pokemon Company international corruption, and they're actually enforcing the rules. We saw Tord get a disqualification when he went to the LAIC. Another career-long cheater. Maybe the Wolfey VGC of the Pokemon TCG. You can go back years and find tons of YouTube comments, Twitter posts, Reddit posts of people saying like, yeah, he slow plays. Yeah, he breaks the rules. Or sometimes they don't understand the rules. Like, yeah, he slow plays it, but you know, what can you do? It's like, no, actually, what you just described in your match that you played against him, or like what you've observed, is actually objectively against the rules. He tries to pull this in Latin America, gets rightfully disqualified. We see cheating, and we're like, there's a good judge out there in Brazil. Please, find my video, message me, get in contact. Like, because I do have fans and people in my audience are like, look, I tried to sign up for the judge program as a junior judge. I kept getting overruled by, like, tournament officials or head judges and stuff. I'm like, yo, I know this person's cheating. Let's check his team. They would refuse. It's like, Pokemon Company International is corrupt in like so many different ways. They don't punish cheaters. Same thing with Michael Pramlott. Play Pokemon is actually just a scam where employees allow their friends to cheat to have a better chance at stealing prize money in Pokemon TCG and Pokemon VGC. Anyone that like tries to break into that, well, you can't, because like now you're going into these established programs, and it doesn't matter because the corruption has already planted its roots and seeded all the way in. And I talked about that years ago with my video about tournament organizers that say Pokemon just ones and zeros. And then they did a whole podcast, like tournament officials, organizers, head judges, doing an entire podcast justifying cheating. And I broke that down. And all of this. And now it's like, yeah, these things that have needed to happen, someone actually got in the position to do something about it. And these advanced hack checks, because it was way too much of a problem. I called that out back in 2016. You gotta ban Wolf now, or else, like, the thing is, like, you gotta ban Wolf back in 2016 and have everything fall apart, strip him of his title, and then rebuild it to where we're actually, like, healthier. Like, if that happened in 2016, like, Pokemon VGC is bigger, it's healthier, there's more legitimacy. But now, again, like, over 95% of players are hacking. We saw record disqualifications at Worlds. We keep seeing disqualifications from these events. All kinds of crazy stuff, and I was getting worried there. It's been quiet, where it's like, yeah, another event, yeah, there were cheaters, yeah, there were disqualifications. Even Kurt's been quiet on his free hack checks because everyone knows all the top players are hacking anyways, and nothing gets done about it, so what's the point? And now it's like, wait a second, maybe there's little cracks. Maybe something's starting to happen. Maybe something finally has to give. You hear, like, what happens in 2024 Worlds, you're like, this has to be it. This has to be the end of VGC, has to be over, and, like, now it all comes crumbling down. But no. The corruption of Pokemon Company International to keep this from Game Freak, to keep this from the Japanese side of Pokemon, all these other things is outrageous. But then the rogue operators in Brazil and Latin America, bless you incredible people for actually like getting in there and doing the little bits of work that you can. And it doesn't mean like, oh, this was the only player, therefore the cheating problem isn't bad. Like, no, he just happened to get randomly hack checked. These random hack checks should just apply to every single person and all the Pokemon in their boxes, and then be cross-referenced against each other, and then you just find out, oh yeah, they're all trade bots and hacked Pokemon. But this is like actually one of the more optimistic things I've seen in a while. Even though it's probably not going to happen. Even though it's probably going to take... Even though, like, Pokemon VGC is never going to have their big cheating exposed. We're going to get our official simulator, Wolf doesn't get banned, and all the evil people live happily ever after. Like we don't have the good future ahead of us, but at least we have little victories that fill us with some dopamine from time to time, I guess. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. New cheater just dropped in the Pokemon VGC, and it should be a surprise to no one at this point that's a 5-time regional champion. Huh. It's almost like hacking Pokemon gives you a massive competitive advantage. And then this quote. Do what you love. The dude loves being evil and stealing prize money. So Riley Factura, what happened? What's the history? Well, let's see what happened at the North American International Championship, because that is where it got busted. Round 12, manual hack check, got crossed out. Now, this could be a drop, but it wasn't, and we can go to the standings to confirm that. We got Riley Hughes. We got Bo Riley. Oh, no other Riley to be found. So he was just disqualified, removed from the tournament, and that also gets further confirmed. We can see that he gained no championship points from the event, despite being whatever and whatever at the rounds. Like, he would have gotten some amount of points, even if this was a drop. So yeah, another top player getting caught in VGC, multiple championships. It's all the top players. They're all cheating. The advantage is that massive. So I wanted to go through the history, see what events he played in, see how well he's done, and there's some pretty crazy stuff. So earlier this year, 2024 Pittsburgh Regional Championships, that was first place, and then just like a lot of high placements, top 8, top 4, second place. And then the twisted web of VGC gets even stranger. So we have the Fresno Regional Championships where he lost to Gavin Michaels. Wait a second, Gavin Michaels, that's the dude that got disqualified from Worlds for having hacked Pokemon. Then he defended it, and then he instructed people how to cheat for the Pittsburgh Regional Championships that Riley ended up winning. It's just a nest of cheating rats in all of VGC, and there's our boy Wolfglick, biggest fraud in all of Pokemon with his cheating as well. We got 2019 Portland Regional Championship, first place, 2017 Phoenix Regional Championships, and then we get to a really interesting one, 2015 Seattle, first place. That was the regionals I went to. Gets even better. Nugget Bridge has the VOD, and look at this scumbag with the full shiny hack team. And as I've been breaking down over the last couple of years, the reason why all these people cry when they get caught cheating, especially with like all the disqualifications, is because they never played legit to begin with, no matter how many lies were going on.
You can't say a full shiny team is hacking, Verlisify.
Yes, I can, because no one is doing that in a competitive setting when they're also making other teams and trying to compete. You need to put it all into just getting a team as quick as possible if you're playing legit, and then spending the rest on practice. There's no time to get a full shiny team, and 99% of Pokemon are hacked anyways because of all the hacking systems in PK Hex and bots and Wonder Trades. And I guess it even needs to be extra clarified how much cheating was going on for earlier generations of Pokemon VGC, that over 99% of bred Pokemon were cheated because you weren't allowed to breed with a hacked 6IV Ditto, which everyone was using. And that was confirmed by the Pokemon Company. If a Pokemon is bred from illegitimately obtained Pokemon, it is not considered legal. So it even goes beyond Rule 4.3, which is also why RNGing has always been against the rules in Pokemon. Having to hack the game to reverse engineer the RNG to develop the unauthorized third-party software that is needed to obtain the RNG seed is clearly not natural gameplay, which is why that's also against the rules. If someone gave you a quote-unquote breeding Ditto, all those offspring are considered illegal by the rules and are cheated. If you did not obtain the 6IV Ditto yourself, which was pretty much impossible, it's cheated. So it's probably closer to like 99.99% of all bred competitive Pokemon are cheated. And that still only accounts for a small fraction of all competitive Pokemon, over 90% of which are hacked anyways. Even though we're seeing more crying and complaints now that getting competitive Pokemon is the quickest and easiest it's ever been, they never played legit, and that goes for every full shiny team. RNG for Generation 6 didn't exist until 2017. after the competitive was over, after Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. So your boy Blissey lying about that one. And in Generation 5, RNGing was against the rules because it's not natural gameplay, it requires unauthorized third-party tools, and no one RNG'd anyways. They all just Pokechecked, they all just hacked. That's what Ray Rizzo said. If it takes more than 5 minutes to get a competitive Pokemon, these scumbags are gonna hack. And that's what we can see clear as day, and it gets even more clear. We go to the Nugget Bridge write-up of the team. So, team accomplishments. Seattle, Washington, first place. Also, a lot of other first place. Anything lower doesn't count. But this team did very well by winning Premier Challenges and Nugget Bridge tournaments. But then you just get into it, it's like, okay, so we got the Shiny Thundurus. What does it have? Oh, Shiny Hidden Power Thundurus with perfect IVs. My bad. And even though it only takes a couple extra minutes, doing an EV spread like this in Generation 6 is annoying. It's exhausting. So, like, that's why Genning is objectively cheating. You get a time advantage for more practice. You have infinitely more resources because you can just hack a Pokemon instantly and have thousands of potential Pokemon to use for an event within any amount of time, compared to the finite time a legitimate player will have, such as if there's only 2 weeks until the event comes up. You're not going to be able to get that hidden power you need. And it was also worse before hidden power got removed. Because, like, oh yeah, any hidden power Pokemon that's also, like, perfect IVs with the team or also shiny is just going to be hacked every time because everyone was cheating in Pokemon. 99% of non-shiny Pokemon are hacked because Pokemon is just filled with that much cheating, and it was only worse back then because it took longer to get Pokemon, and the 3DS was also very vulnerable and had a lot of people just promoting and using PK Hex. 3 shiny legendaries on the team, like, come on, it shouldn't have to be explained. But people just said, no, no, full shiny team doesn't mean cheating in Generation 6. As I said that the entirety of Generation 6, because everyone's a cheater. They're just defending all the cheating that's going on because they're a brat that doesn't want to work for anything. And it's always been that way, and nothing's changed even now, which also exposes so much hypocrisy that, you know, non-stop complaints of, oh, if Game Freak made it easier, we wouldn't cheat. Now it's brain dead easy, and we're seeing more people crying about how inaccessible Pokemon is than ever before, even though these complaints about the national decks and transfers didn't happen. And before Generation 8, we had national decks. So it's also another insane form of hypocrisy that, oh, bring back national decks, removing national decks, Game Freak bad. Now there's too many Pokemon and we have to use the national decks and buy previous games. Even though, like, the person that is being, quote-unquote, affected or disadvantaged by the VGC rules just straight up doesn't exist. No one was getting into Pokemon for the first time ever and had owned no games before 2023 just to get into VGC before the DLC released, and then they were also using, like, Enamorus and Urshifu. Like, no, you don't have to own the games. The rules just say you just need the current copy of the base game. And owning a Nintendo Switch isn't an accessibility issue when it's the most sold console Nintendo has ever had, and we also have tens of millions of copies for many games and many other great games. Like, so no one has bought a Nintendo Switch only to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and then use an Urshifu and VGC, which means they feel the need to go back, play Pokemon Sword and Shield to get it. They're all cheating. They're all hacking always to begin with, and no one is ever doing any of this stuff. So there's no accessibility issues for the non-existent person that only bought a Nintendo Switch in 2023 just to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then they felt bad because they couldn't get access to an Urshifu because they never played Pokemon Sword and Shield before the DLC came out for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And it costs $60 to $70 to enter a regional, so like, oh, the $60 game is too much, or oh, the $30 DLC makes it too expensive and inaccessible for Pokemon. And you have to, like, participate in multiple events to get enough championship points to qualify for Worlds. It's all lies. Wow, it turns out the person cheating and saying that hacking your game doesn't give an advantage is a dishonest scumbag. Who would have guessed? And that's just over 90% of the Pokemon community at this point, because I'm the only good, positive influence in Pokemon saying cheating is wrong. Don't lie, cheat, and steal. And that makes me the enemy. Because I'm enemy number one just kind of shows how prevalent the cheating problem is in Pokemon. And going back to before the national decks, no one complained that you need to have Pokemon X and Y or ORAS or previous games or transfer to be able to get access to Pokemon in a national dex format. But the thing is, if you're participating in a game, it means you should be playing the game, or at the very least, like the game. And Pokemon fans, they're buying the copies of each game in tens of millions. Like, more people bought Pokemon Sword and Shield than Scarlet and Violet. How is that an accessibility issue that you need Pokemon Sword and Shield to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when more people have it? Oh, no, wait, that's right, because this person never existed. That's only starting now. Also, it's the same with any form of competition. If you started younger, you're going to have more resources and advantages because that's just how it works. Oh wow, the cheating brats are dishonest. So much like Wolfey VGC, much like all the top players in VGC, once a cheater, always a cheater. Their excuses are lies because they are pandering and manipulating children that don't want to work for their things. It's disgusting. It's evil. And it's also kind of funny because people say like, oh, shiny Pokemon don't matter, they don't give a competitive advantage. And that's also objectively false because the shiny animation is about timer manipulation, which was huge in earlier generations to the point where there's a lot of discussion about it. If you want to talk about timer wins, Wolf has won a bunch of his games in 2012, 4-4 in timer, and it was explicitly against the rules to timer stall. So Wolf is a double cheater, and then a lot of people talk about the timer stalling he did for Pokemon Worlds 2016. That's against the rules, and any other competitor that's manipulating that, because that's like the bit, like all these cheaters, they're all friends, which is why they get away with cheating, and it's just the corruption inside of Pokemon Company as well to allow this cheating. Scott Glaza and Cybertron, they gotta look out for their friends in VGC so the scene doesn't fall apart. So they all know the cheating strats. I got timer stalled against in my 2012 regionals, and then when I was at top table, the dude I beat in an early round came over and said timer stall him from the beginning. It's insane. Like how much cheating and how corrupt and polluted the Pokemon community has always been. So yeah, full shiny team has always been hacking, and the only people that say it isn't are cheaters, and that's an overwhelming majority of the Pokemon community at this point, but it also shows it's always been that way. And since they don't play the games, they don't have any knowledge that's like, oh, this is actually used for a manipulation tactic, and it does give an even very tiny competitive advantage that could determine some amounts of games. Same thing for a lot of the other blunders we've seen since then, with people saying like, oh, Wolf's Dream Ball Raichu with an egg move in Generation 6 was legit. Even though male Pokemon didn't pass down their balls and breeding with Ditto didn't pass down their balls, so there was no way of getting an egg move onto a male-only event, which that Raichu was. And then we're also seeing a lot like, oh, these kids just never played the games, which is why they're cheating. They're advocating for cheating, and they don't have any valid arguments, but they've all gotten together and they bully out anyone that, like, if you are pro-legitimacy in Pokemon, you get bullied out. You get attacked, you get berated, and no one wants to deal with that. All legit people are going to take their ball and go home, which is the fair thing, but now it just means, like, Pokemon is ruined until everything collapses. It's just going to be more and more cheaters, and it's only cheaters winning because hacking gives an advantage. A genned Pokemon is not legal by the rules. I was onto that in like 2013 when I started this channel for Pokemon. The whole legal, legit, illegal argument is just a complete lie because the rules define legal. Any genning, having correct stats, is not legal in any capacity if that Pokemon has been hacked in any way. A gen Pokemon hacked are the exact same. And now we're seeing people say like, oh, And now we're seeing people say it doesn't matter, Wolf's team was legit. So they're trying to even steal legit as a term when that was like back in the day, 3DS era. People were like, yeah, legit means you bred it and trained it yourself. No, now legit means genned. Because that's how desperate the cheating supporters and defenders have gotten since all the top players have been confirmed as cheaters at this point and nothing's being done about it by the Pokemon Company. So yeah, it's awful, but hey, we got another catch and it's a big one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.
I feel like cheating has gotten so bad in VGC that the Pokemon Company only has two options right now. One, lock the doors of the International and ban everyone inside, or two, allow hacking in the rule set. That doesn't sound favorable for anyone no matter what you pick, but this is what it's looking like, guys. We have Pokemon PhD, well-known Pika Hex, hacker, Jenner, whatever in the VGC community. This is what he's asking right now. I have a favor to ask of capable London competitors. Pretty much people with Pika Hex, modified games, systems, or anything like that. Dump me a copy of your save file post-battle box, preferably before as well. Pretty much what he's asking is, hey, I want to read the save file to see what changes there are once your battle box is locked. That way I can reverse engineer it and find out what the hack check is doing. Therefore, we can hack better Pokemon for the future VGC events. And it's that big. Just shameless, fearless. Yo, you guys know who you are. There's a majority of people hacking at this international VGC event with top worlds players that have been busted for hacking before. Well, they're back and they're still genning, PKXing. They're doing whatever. They're illegal right now, and then there's a call out to them like, hey, if you're there, if you're cheating, go and send me some game files. You know how to do that because you're a cheater, and then I can go and figure out what's going on right there. So we can also go and look at some of the people responding. Puddles VGC. He needs to be banned on the spot. I can maybe do it if I get my hands around a computer sometime. He's hacking, and if he gets a hold of a laptop and can transfer over the files and make a save copy, boom, that's a hacker right there. We found him. Same with Wolfey or whatever it is. I can help with this. Get these guys banned. These guys should be struck down immediately. And it just gets worse from there. So remember when I was talking about that guy that had the beast ball and he privated his account and he said he was sorry and stuff? Well, I mean, this is where things start getting really interesting because he had a person talk to him, put your Twitter on private, click protect my tweets so you know who can't stalk you. And of course that's going to be me because I'm the one that's going to search through and find out who is cheating. And then shortly after this tweet right here, he made his account private even though he was receiving absolutely no hate from anyone about the hacked Pokemon because the community supports it. Remember, we had Judy Azraeli. He was the one that was saying, no, it's okay that you're cheating. Just keep competing with your cheated Pokemon. It's okay. So that's an issue right there. And we keep going deeper. So the rest of this video is going to be exposing tons of VGC players. I think that first tweet is all we really need to just kind of show how big of an epidemic the cheating is. That so many people are cheating right now that you can just kind of call and be like, yo, just go and give me the files because I know you're cheating right here. Well, we have Marcus right here. He is complaining that people are actually cheating mid-tournament. Changing EVs between the tournament. Okay. Meadow Plate instead of Miracle Seed? Not okay. Pretty much he's mocking the rules because the Pokemon team sheets, the Pokemon Company is over-enforcing them and creating a lot of problems for people, even though that the Pokemon Company isn't checking the EVs before and after. So people are coming back from day one saying, oh, this didn't work. Let me change my Pokemon mid-tournament, which is against the rules, and then bring new Pokemon in. And since they have Pika Hex, since they're already hacking and cheating, they can easily modify their Pokemon because they never had time to make the team legitimately in the first place. And they certainly don't have time with like the 14 hours between days to change entire Pokemon like that. So this is kind of admitting like, yeah, there's more cheaters there. There's more people hacking. There's people that are breaking the rules to gain an advantage. Like, this is an objective advantage right here. Changing the EVs during the tournament is absolutely an advantage because that's going to make it to where if you're expecting something, like you've already faced this trainer before, or you can already get an idea of what they're running, what kind of sets and spreads they're running. Well, if they change that up on you, that's going to put you at an extreme disadvantage because they were not allowed to do that, and now they're making their Pokemon team stronger against the rules. It's just kind of poking fun at that. The Heck Check isn't detecting these EV changes. It's not detecting the impossible Pokeballs like the Beast Ball Porygon. The judges at this international are so incompetent to not be able to catch this that they didn't ban the guy. The guy dropped instead. So that's a pretty big issue right here. And then people are getting hit. Wolflick, his Porygon, he wrote Porygon on the sheet instead of Porygon 2, so he's not allowed to use his Porygon tomorrow. Same with this guy's Gastrodon. So Marcus had a Gastrodon. He brought the wrong Gastrodon. Now, my experience with making teams is that I have one Pokemon for each because it takes a while to breed. It takes a while to build up these teams, and I don't have multiples of the same Pokemon for different sets and stuff, but this guy does. So it's likely that he has a lot of different Gastrodons that he's been genning or receiving in this kind of way to where he could accidentally pick the wrong one and then enter that with the tournament even though his sheet says something else. And then no one else knew that team sheets were needed until registration. They shouldn't have been so heavily weighted because now people are getting game losses. They're losing entire Pokemon from their teams just from having the wrong ones. But I think that that also shows more hacking. That shows more people using illegal Pokemon if they don't understand their team enough because they just received it. They didn't work for their team at all. So they're just kind of scribbling things down, then realizing it's wrong because they didn't put any effort into understanding the legality of their Pokemon. Ooh, and I just found out about this while editing the video. We have Jonathan Evans. That is right, Mr. Middle Finger himself, giving the bird to 30,000 people at Worlds. No punishment for that, but it looks like he got caught for an incorrect team sheet. So that's something right there. It just kind of shows like, well, how are these people getting caught? If you're playing Pokemon legitimately, these are the kind of issues that you shouldn't have. And also, we saw from his Worlds report that his team very incredibly likely to be hacked. I mean, perfect 6 IV Kyogre, Groudon, 0 attack on that Kyogre, also Hidden Power Water on his Pokemon, specific, very hacked looking Pokemon from his team. So again, all it does is link. All it does is link together. So now we can start making these connections. So Marcus, here's the squad. Squatted up with Wolflick and a lot of other people, and now this is where we start making connections to even more hackers. So Wolflick cheating out Escuro VGC. This guy I already busted before because he is the #1 PK Hexer, self-proclaimed #1 PK Hexer in Spain. So we have Wolf Glick, who has been caught with cheated Pokemon in the past, retweeting a joke tweet about cheating from someone he is in contact with who has cheated Pokemon in the past. Also, did want to go and bring up that the Pokemon that Wolf Glick used at Worlds were not his and perfect, and obtained by seemingly the same source with Italy. So there's something fishy going on between Wolf Glick and Oscuro and all these other people that are going on, but I wanted to keep going with the connections. Now, something that's very interesting to point out between Wolf Glick and Marcus is that they are on the same MBL team known as Team Dreamball. It's an unofficial multi-battle league, and what this is doing is making fun of me and Wolf Glick's illegal Raichu. That Wolf Glick had an impossible 100% illegal Dreamball Raichu, and instead of owning up to this illegal Pokemon, they decided that it was better to just joke about it in a league filled with hacked Pokemon, because online Pokemon battle leagues, especially for YouTube, are going to be primarily with hacked Pokemon, and another person or another team in that league is Duncan Knee Deep and Hoodlum Scrafty, known as Team Views. Again, another jab at me, because I just make all these videos for views and drama and stuff like that. So instead of being mature about it, they decided to turn their hacked battle league into a joke against me that actually proves the illegal Pokemon that are in the community, and we already know for sure that Duncan Knee Deep cheats his Pokemon and advocates for hacking. He said on Twitter many times that he is okay with people hacking their Pokemon, and he does this all the time for his YouTube channel with his free-for-alls, multi-battles, and all kinds of battles that are going on with his channel. Also, he works directly with Hoodlum Scrafty, who has a pirated copy of Pokemon Sun and Moon. His Let's Plays were also dated for November 14th, when he was trying to upload them, thus showing he had an early copy of the game and was uploading early videos of it, while also being a part of hacked battle royales and hacked free-for-alls already in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So all the connections of just non-stop PK hexing, non-stop hacking, it just keeps going deeper and deeper. So let's see what the rest of the squad is up to as well. So we have a couple of people right here. Bill is saying, you know, make sure you know the most important illegal moves and abilities. Call a judge once you find an opponent using them, because it's anticipated. It's anticipated that cheating is going to be that rampant that you should memorize what the illegal moves are. That way you can pin someone for cheating. But then we have Haricot. This guy responded to him and says new PKX legality checker does that. Now, why would he be telling him this unless he is familiar with PKX in some way? Like, hey, you can run that through the legality checker and it actually flags these things for you so you can understand it a little better, and also make sure that your team isn't illegal as well. Well, this guy, oh my goodness, Haricot, mega cheater. All he does is talk about PK Hex. PK Hex Live, going for PK Hex, provides the previous version of PK Hex, PK Hex this. Now, something that is unsettling is that Haricot is at this event right now. He should be banned on the spot. He has talked about PKX before. He's talking about the illegality checker for the current generation, and he is very versed in PK Hex, while also having a very likely pirated copy of the game. Because here we have it, November 19th, just a day after Pokemon Sun and Moon was released. He has a full guide for catching the Tapus, but he's European, and they got a delayed release. So he either received an early copy, or most likely, since he has a DS. He has a DS that's capable of PKXing. He has homebrewed software. He has all these things in his favor, and it seems like with the rate that he put out his LP, and this in-game, late-game content, and a full, well-edited video, that he had access to the game before launch via illicit methods. So that's something to keep an eye on right there. As I was connecting names together, I found Velocity VGC, restarting my Omega Ruby so I can play on Battle Spot. I wonder what it feels like to play Pokemon stress-free for once, because back in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there was a lot of banning going on that you would get Battle Spot banned if you were caught with illegal Pokemon and a modded kind of game cartridge as well. No, I haven't been banned yet. You only say, I haven't been banned yet, if you're doing something that would cause you to get banned at some point. So he decided to wipe his entire cartridge so he wouldn't be able to get banned on the Battle Spot once all of this was coming out. Also, we can find out that he is also at the International Challenge right now, so incredibly grateful for the opportunity to compete in London today. And even though he has experience with modifying his cartridge and hacking his Pokemon, and he's connected to all of these other people that are using PK Hex, that are cheating at this event. So he was also working with this guy, Sanvi VGC. So Sanvi comes into the picture, and then he's talking about ginning and stuff. So just because I use a shiny Bronzong by mistake doesn't mean I'm bad at ginning. Feel free to hit me up as well. I'm better than this guy at ginning people that are going to US Nats. So this was back in Nationals earlier on in the summer, People going to US Nats, if you need help with ginning your mons last minute, hit me up. So Wolfey VGC is one of the guys that's also providing these illegal Pokemon to a lot of the top VGC players for last minute team adjustments, and there could very well be a connection to all of the people that I've talked about in this video and their potentially illegal Pokemon from this guy right here. So it keeps going even deeper because Wolfey VGC has talked with Pokemon PhD. It comes full circle. It's all a group of friends that go and cheat at these large events, and that's why they are just breaking the rules, and this is why the Pokemon Company is scared. The Pokemon Company has to turn a blind eye, or else you lose 99% of your competitive scene. That all of the top VGC players, they get exposed, they get banned, and they are breaking the rules, and then you have nothing to show for it. That's going to make the Pokemon Company look bad, but also makes them look really bad when all of this gets exposed. So what does the Pokemon Company do? If they allow hacking, Nintendo's going to be pissed because that's encouraging modification, that's encouraging TOS breaking, that's encouraging pirating software, save file modification, it's encouraging all these illegal things. So the Pokemon Company is probably just tied to where they could never allow hacking because it's kind of illegal on many different levels, but also they're afraid to ban this because then they have no competitive scene left, and they have to make themselves look bad because then all the other years, Ray Rizzo's Dream Ball Aegislash, well, that's an illegal Pokemon, and then they went and encouraged him by making him a commentator for VGC events. You rewarded a hacker by giving him a job, and then now you're going back and punishing hackers. Also, Wolf Glick, they gave him a copy of Sun and Moon early to review the game, even though it seems very likely right now that he has had access to illegal devices and illegal Pokemon. But yeah, quite funny to me when I got PKX after playing at Regionals, and I discovered that my Talonflame didn't have QG as its egg move. So talking about like Quick Guard Talonflame or something, as Pokemon PhD is breaking down like whatever's going on with PK Hex right now, showing that he has access to the software, showing that, you know, these people that are PK Hexing and Ginning, they just all work together to try to help out all of these top VGC players. And then, who remembers Ian? Ian is a little bit of a complex story right here. Feels so guilty for doing this in the middle of the convention center side event area. So this guy, he is a well-known VGC player. He's been on stage, he PK hexes his team, and he was the guy that gave Enzo his hack team for the Juniors National Champion. So Junior National Champion, I already exposed because he said he got his team from his brother, and his brother is an avid PK hexer. And here we even have another shiny Smeargle that he PK hexed in the game really early on. Look at this, November 15th, pirated game. So just in case people were thinking Ian might not be pirating, you know, maybe this post about him using PK Hex at Nationals is a joke. Well, he has a pirated game, he has PK Hex, he has a Dark Void shiny Smeargle. Guess what Enzo had? Dark Void shiny Smeargle. So he hacked for his little brother that ended up winning the Nationals for Juniors. I've already done a video on this, but just keeps going in more and more. And guess who's at the event? Yep, he should get banned as well. How he hasn't been banned yet, I don't know. After my Nationals video where he admits to PK hexing and then going on stage. Where are you, Pokemon Company? You gotta step down. I've showed people that are blatantly hacking. People that need to get struck down almost immediately because they're like, hey, I'm at the event and I've openly admitted to cheating or directly engaging with cheaters. So that's pretty much all I have to say right now, guys. This took a lot of digging. I hope you guys at least enjoyed the effort of trying to expose what's going on in the VGC community. Pokemon Company, they've backed themselves into a corner by not punishing Ray Rizzo. I feel that everyone's like, oh, we can get away with blatantly illegal Pokemon now. And then the Pokemon Company has slightly shifted their rules. They keep changing their rules, like you will be banned to you might get punished for having these illegal Pokemon. Oh, by the way, the hat checking index works differently than all of these other things that are stating about hacked Pokemon. Illegally manipulated Pokemon, well, the index trumps that and there's no mention of it. So it seems like the Pokemon's trying to skirt around it, and now we have people that are just modding their games. Like, I don't know why the Pokemon Company isn't punishing this. This is illegal behavior. This game modification, all of this is against the terms of service, and they're just turning a blind eye to it because the Pokemon doesn't appear to be hacked, even though you can make these obvious traces. You can obviously find out that there is illegal Pokemon, that there is cheating going on at an insane pace. But again, if you stop it, that means people that you've praised before, people you've led on stage, people that you've hired are now going to be banned. And I think that the Pokemon Company, there is more corruption than I ever thought. We all know about Scott Glaza and the BS he has pulled before, and he seems to be a major influence of the competitive part of Pokemon, and at least writing articles for the Pokemon company. So that's kind of showing like there's a lot of people that are looking out for these cheaters and preventing the Pokemon company from taking action. That seems like the judges are either completely incompetent, which means the people hiring the judges, the Pokemon company, whoever's in charge of this hack checking, is failing their duty entirely, or they just have to turn a blind eye. I already showed that there was a Pokemon tournament official who in a Twitter conversation said, hey, don't discuss illegal Pokemon around me, instead of banning them on the spot. Like, that's what you do. You don't go, hey, you shouldn't do this around me. You go, oh, thanks, you get busted now. You know, that's how an impartial judge is supposed to work. But it seems like everyone is failing at this point when it comes to Pokemon Company, and it's just an absolutely sad thing to see. But like I said, they're kind of backed into a corner right now, and I will not stop pushing this. Like, when it's this easy to go and just catch non-stop cheaters at these large events, like the International is the Nationals. It's almost like it's pretty much a mini Worlds right now. Because this is where all the top players are going together to get their big push and make a name for themselves in the 7th generation, and almost all of them are hacking, and that's what it's looking like, guys. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. A lot of work, but it feels good to make these solid connections. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.
Hacked Pokemon were given out by tournament organizers at an official Pokemon VGC side event. We have hit peak cheating chaos, so please share this video with everyone so they understand how bad the cheating and hacking problem is in Pokemon. So let's see what went down. There was a side event hosted by this person, Kaiseal Boy, called the Chaos Cup at the Liverpool Regionals, and it was hosted by the official tournament organizers. So what happened was people were given rental teams to use of just random Pokemon, and the idea was you take quote-unquote low-tier Pokemon. I find it insulting that there's VGC competitors as well as tournament organizers calling Pokemon D tier and C tier. When you actually see the teams, these Pokemon aren't bad either. And then you're supposed to kind of adapt on the fly with these Pokemon and then see how you do. Now, my first thought was, in a community filled with hacking where pretty much every VGC player gets caught cheating, it's very suspicious that just one person made multiple teams for a side event. And then we could see it in the pictures, the team sheets were visible. Jackpot. We got rental codes. Now, if only there's someone that's been looking at VGC teams to find out who's cheating. Oh, Kurt. What does Kurt have to say? Leaning towards hacked. And also, that's insulting, man. The full Evolution team called D tier? VGC community is just too toxic and scummy, but what would you expect from, like, mostly cheaters? Either way, Kurt said, I'm leaning towards hacked on this one. Every single one is 508 EVs, 3 PP ups. Now, idiots out there are going to say, you can't say that about PP ups since you can buy them now. Wrong, and Kurt just proved this. Most legal teams did not use 3 PP ups for every move. You can't use Quick Attack 48 times in a single battle. And looking at the moves, yeah, you're not going to use Volt Switch 32 times in a double battle, or the max amount of Swords Dance, Yawn, Icy Wind, all of these other moves, even in a timer scenario. So that looks pretty suspicious, and then, like, the data kind of shows that, you know, some people, 1 in 3, will have a full PP Max team, but most of them are going to be hacked, and remember, this person made multiple teams for the event, so then it just kind of keeps on scaling to where Occam's Razor means likely hacked. Also, you have to look for the other signs. 508 is a legitimate signal of a hacked Pokemon. PK Hex doesn't put in the extra 2 EVs because they don't do anything for the stats, but anyone training their Pokemon legitimately is going to hit 510 because you go 26, 26, 1 for the vitamins, that's going to be 510, or you use a power item for your last stat. Yes, feathers are easier to obtain, and that's going to lead to more 508s, but a full team of 508 just kind of shows Pokemon are just hacked in, especially with like the max PP. But that's not all. Kurt also found a few other things that show the team is hacked, but we're in the middle of a VGC season and there's a lot of regionals coming up, so we gotta keep the sauce secret for just a little longer. But then we got a breakthrough. An update about the Chaos Cup gave us more pictures from the event, which means another team was found and he messed up their gen. Look at that ID. 12345 54321. Default. So just like with the Evolution team, lazy hacking. And that's what gets me about the doubters, is that we have a community filled with cheaters, that defends cheating, that has had all of the top players get caught cheating, that has clear signs when someone's cheating, and then there's still people that deny it. Even though the odds start to get overwhelmingly undeniable until eventually the hard proof is found, and even when the hard proof is given, like Wolfey VGC's hacked Galarian Moltres in the Players Cup 2, as well as the many other objectively impossible hacked Pokemon Wolfglick has used, people will still deny it. But I'm going to keep pushing for it because eventually this will get too big to ignore. We have official Pokemon tournament organizers running events with hacked Pokemon. Every non-Japanese Pokemon World Champion has been confirmed to be a cheater, and also we have first place and second place at the Liverpool regionals, so the same regionals being won by cheaters. We also had the first VGC event for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Both finalists were cheating. There was cheating in the top 3 at the San Diego regionals. Also, it's really funny because we have the same thing right here of ginning the OT, but then still having like the default IDs. And for the people out there that says there's nothing wrong with cheating or breaking the rules or that doesn't matter, then why does Wolfey lie? Because he's been caught. Why don't all these other people just come out and say, yeah, I gen my teams if there's nothing wrong with it? Oh, it's almost like there's something wrong with it, and they're not allowed to do it. And then we have this weird trend where virtually every top player is caught cheating, and every world champion, and a majority of the championship points and prize money goes to cheaters. It's almost like having more time and resources gained from breaking the rules gives you an advantage over legitimate players. And that's provable. Wow. And even though it's quote-unquote easier to train your Pokemon in Generation 9, we're seeing just as many, if not more people hacking in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and if there was no advantage, if there was no benefit, if it's so easy, there would be no reason to break the rules. But the reality is, it's gotten so bad, you can't win without cheating, and the problem is we have all these corrupt people at the Pokemon Company covering it up, not addressing it. The ironic part being, I found out about this because of Chris Brown, the director of global esports and events for Pokemon. He retweeted the event. I went, wait a minute. And that's how we found out that official VGC tournament organizers are using hacked Pokemon for their events, but because Chris Brown is corrupt, nothing is done about it until we make a big enough noise, and that's why I won't stop. Because if Wolfey has to lie, obviously it matters. If these people have to keep on lying, obviously something's wrong here. And until the cheating problem is addressed, it's only going to get worse and worse. But because of that, it gets easier and easier to detect, and then we can make more and more of a stink about it until something is done. Unlike most of the Pokemon community, or anyone working for Play Pokemon, I'm a good person. I think it's wrong to lie, cheat, and steal. And I'm not going to cave. I'm going to do the right thing always. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Here's the current state of cheating in Pokemon. On an official Pokemon VGC stream, we have a Pokemon with the original trainer, freemons.org. That is how prevalent cheating is. That is how much of a problem cheating is. And the crazy thing is, Verlisify continues to always be right as the community gets more toxic and deranged and stupid about all of the cheating that's going on in Pokemon. It started off as, oh, no one's cheating, you're just lying, you're an idiot, Verlisify, even though it's like proven Wolfey is a cheater with his Raichu. It's not a coincidence Ray Rizzo and Wolfglick are in the Pokemon World Finals with full teams of shiny Pokemon with legendaries and hidden power. They've always been cheaters. Full shiny teams have always been hacked, but that was a lot of controversy back in 2013 through 2017, or even now. You can't say full shiny teams are hacked, even though most non-shiny teams are hacked. Like over 90% of non-shiny Pokemon teams are cheated, and we get to the point where we just have like Machamps.com on a Pokemon stream because that's how accepted cheating is in Pokemon. So it went from no one's cheating to, okay, some people are cheating, but it's not that much of a problem, to, okay, everyone's cheating, but here's why it's a good thing. And all you have to do is go to the replies and the reactions to this to see people actually say that. Like, Pokemon is the only community toxic enough, filled with brats and idiots, to say cheating is good for competition. So, you know, we have effectively just this going around on Twitter, the reaction, that sucks. It sucks that the cheater got caught. It sucks Barry Bonds was found to not be eating a balanced breakfast, and that Lance Armstrong, all those bracelets we wore, were lies. It sucks so much for him. Not the opponents, not the competitors that are being disadvantaged by the cheating, but the person choosing to break the rules. We need sympathy for them. As long as the moves and things are legal, it shouldn't matter. Pokemon should make it easy to build teams strictly for competitive. And this is another, like, how did we get to this point? Where over the last decade, like going from Generation 5, Generation 6 with the Destiny Knot, incredible quality of life, actually making it possible to get 5 IV Pokemon relatively easily. Every generation of Pokemon, every new game has made it easier to get competitive Pokemon, and like I was saying, back in 2013, back in 2014, that will not be enough. You need to ban all the cheaters immediately. You need to completely purge the scene, because as long as it takes more than 2 minutes to make a full competitive team, people will cheat no matter how easy it gets. It's easier than ever. These people have never played the games that they're competing in, and somehow I'm in the wrong for saying lying, cheating, and stealing is wrong. It's the same thing over and over again, but here's where we're at because of it. Let's look at the reactions, because when something like this happens, it does get kind of split. It is easy, a lot easier than it used to be. Now that we have candies, mints, and we can change their nature to raise and lower stats, play the game, don't cheat. Yo, there's momentum? There's not a good like ratio, because like a 1.5% like ratio is pretty good. This is under that, but still like, oh, wait, we have that. I assembled a competitive team in Scarlet after like 2 hours max. It's easy, people are just lazy. Oh wow, so like, yeah, this person's getting roasted, but also we can see that they have a better like ratio because the community sentiment is cheating is good. Well, it does matter because you're getting hundreds of hours more practice than the legitimate player, and you also have infinitely more resources that you can react to. If there's a meta change, you respond to it instantly instead of losing time and always being behind the meta. You need to change your team before an event. It's not as easy, or maybe not even possible, for a player following the rules, so they will be disadvantaged. The evil and toxicity it takes to willfully lie like this is what upsets me most about the Pokemon community. And also this, like, how much cognitive dissonance do you have? How broken are you as a person to play devil's advocate to defend the cheater? Is it actually a big deal? Yes, cheating is wrong. It creates an objective advantage. This is why we only see cheaters winning events, even in Generation 9, where it's easier than ever to get a competitive team. So imagine how it was all those other times I've called out cheaters and saying cheating is wrong. Wolf never wins 2016 Worlds without that hacked Raichu and hacked legendary Pokemon. Wolf Glick is objectively a nobody without cheating. He doesn't make it to the finals in Generation 5. He doesn't qualify for any Worlds without cheating. He has no attention, no momentum, no publicity, and also likely just gets banned and has to actually be a functioning member of society with a normal job. It's not like he can give it fake stats that aren't possible. Again, the deliberate dishonesty to deflect from the actual problem with cheating. It's against the rules. You are breaking the rules to obtain game pieces. Without breaking the rules, you don't have any of those Pokemon to begin with. So you already just have the advantage right there, and it only gets worse from there. But then, wait a second, we have seen some rational comments inside of this. EXP candies being super plentiful, hyper training level 50, bottle caps, nature mints, vitamins. Wow. Like, there is no excuse to cheat. There hasn't been an excuse to cheat ever in Pokemon. But now we're seeing as much cheating as ever. So it's like, wait a second. You look at, 99% of VGC players cheating now, every top player getting caught. Oh, it was always like that, and it was worse when there was even more of an advantage the further back you go in previous generations. Legitimate players never had a chance, even though more people were actually trying to learn breeding and legitimate training back in Generation 6, back in Generation 7. That's why my channel blew up, because there were more good people in the Pokemon community trying to learn how to play the game and actually playing the game. But now, the modern generation of just worthless, entitled brats, they've taken over Pokemon. I've been talking about that for years, and now we can see the result. Verlicify always right. We also see other bad actor influencers just laughing at the situation instead of being like cheating is wrong, because they defend cheating, their friends cheat, they cheat for their content, and they've also attacked my character for being against cheating in the past. There's no other good people in the Pokemon community, and that's why we're here. Great meme on this one. Again, instead of cheating is wrong, trying to make a joke of the situation where it's like, wait a second, like, this is how bad VGC is, Wolf needs to be banned. If you aren't making a video saying like, oh, here's the proof Wolf cheated, he needs to be banned, here's also a lot of the other cheating that's going on, just go to Kurt's Twitter, there you go. But a very high like ratio because he has fostered a community of toxic brats that don't think cheating is wrong. That's a new one I haven't heard before. Verlisyphilis. It's getting a huge boner right now. I mean, that was mostly what happened with Worlds, and a lot of the reactions from that were accurate when we were like, Verlisify right now, just the biggest smile or something. But nothing's being done. The dude advertised a hacking site on the Pokemon VGC stream and just got a DQ. Like, maybe gets a ban for how egregious this is, but we haven't seen enough bans for any amounts of cheating, no matter how proven, no matter how many disqualifications, no matter how illegal the Pokemon is. That should be 2 years minimum, but also with how prevalent the cheating problem is, like, just permaban. Like, you have no right to play Pokemon again because you chose to cheat. For bans, maybe we need to go case by case. Oh, this was your first disqualification, you only had one hacked Pokemon on your team, even though you likely knew it was hacked. It seems like it wasn't directly from you, so fine, we'll give you, you know, a 1-2 year ban for that. But when the OT is a hacking site, there's no excuse. This was a deliberate act to cheat. You have no right to ever play Pokemon again, and the scene is much better for it. But once again, going into the toxicity and evil of the Pokemon community, I'm against lying, cheating, and stealing. That makes me enemy number 1. Also, people are like, oh, Verlisify's bad. You know, he calls people idiots and he's mean to them. But then this is the name-calling and hate that targets the only good people in the Pokemon community. Should say everything, and then bro got DQ'd right after. They were not messing around. Except they were, because, like, we've only talked about, oh, there's a lot of cheating, and there's always been a lot of cheating, and here's the reaction cheating, but how does this happen? Like, another thing people say is, oh, Wolf didn't cheat because the hack check didn't catch him. Which is also just, like, the dumbest cognitive dissonance refusal to cope with the fact Wolf is a cheater that you can imagine. Like, again, like, it's idiots, it's liars, it's just the most toxic, evil traits you can find in people. If you take steroids and pass a drug test, you were still cheating and on steroids. If you use a hacked Pokemon and it didn't get caught by the hack check, which has been notoriously flawed forever, like, oh, they upgraded it for Worlds. That also kind of shows, like, wait, there was a vulnerability that they found, they busted out at Worlds, but now it's always hacker, cat, and mouse. You know, that's why there's hacking in everything. Scripting ran away in League of Legends, and now we have Vanguard, but Vanguard doesn't stop all the cheats, and everyone and their mom is saying that. A kernel-level anti-cheat doesn't even stop all the cheating. Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, unplayable with the amounts of cheating depending on, like, what your skill bracket is. This Pokemon breaks the rules of VGC, further proven by the fact that he got disqualified for only having one Pokemon. And that's where we get into, like, other weird things about the rules these brats refuse to understand. Team error severe. A player has fewer usable Pokemon remaining than the permitted minimum team size after receiving earlier penalties. So, it is weird how this is handled with the Pokemon company, because you can have two hacked Pokemon on your team, still, like, be able to compete. You have a third one, well, now you have 3, you can't have 4, and then that's what gets you disqualified, even though it says a Pokemon on a player's team also appears in Section 2 of the Manual Team Checking Appendix. And any indication via official tools that a Pokemon has been illegally manipulated, such as a player's team failing an electronic hack check. We've also seen with some other things where it's like, oh, if you have a lot of hatched Pokemon in your PC box, that gets you disqualified as well. So they are kind of like, they're finally taking the rules seriously to disqualify people. Still not seeing bans because, again, then they lose their entire scene, which I said back in 2016 needed to happen. We could have rebuilt to a stronger Pokemon by this point. But the manual team checking includes Pokeballs that cannot be found through normal gameplay or official promotions, Pokemon nickname or OT that indicates it was not obtained via normal gameplay or official promotions. So that's one of those things where it's like, well, this could get your Pokemon removed, and then you're still allowed to play. And that's also under manual hat checking, but this should just be automatic hat checking. And if your team isn't manual hat checked, you just get super far into the tournament or win with hatch Pokemon because the hat checking is so terrible. Actually, even better, the dude didn't get disqualified, he dropped, but because the Pokemon Company is corrupt, there's really no difference, I guess. And you can even use his online handle to find he got his entire team through a hacking Discord, which also shows how bad the automatic and manual hack checking is because the Pokemon Company doesn't care. Which is why I make these videos, to give it attention so the Pokemon Company is eventually forced to care. At some point, this has to be legally actionable. to allow certain players to break the rules, never get punished, and then steal prize money from other competitors that are paying money to enter the event. We can also use this to prove that hacked Pokemon give such a massive advantage in Pokemon VGC that it's impossible to win as a legitimate player because, oh, we have, 4-0 players right here. Now, this is a special event, which is like a pop-up regionals. I don't know the attendance or the turnout for it. And does the math on Swiss really only 50% of players can be 1-0, 25%, 2-0? So we're already dealing with, a top 10%, 6% player who's only there because of cheating. And much like we see with all these former regional champions getting caught cheating either at the regionals or in a future events, like, oh, wait a second, they've just been cheating the entire time, just like Wolfey, Ray Rizzo, and every other top VGC player. Cheating gives that much of an advantage to where it's only cheaters winning and doing well inside of events. When I went to my first regionals back in Generation 5, I actually feared like, oh, if I have an illegal Pokemon, I'm going to get banned. I'm not going to be allowed to play Pokemon anymore. And I love Pokemon more than anything. That's why I've been continuing this channel. That's why I started this channel. Pokemon has been my entire life. I respect it too much to cheat, but even if I was in like the most desperate situation to cheat, being banned from events was too devastating for me to take the risk. Wolf and friends, they found the sauce all the way back then, because like, oh, at worst, even with like the most cheated team that gives you an objective advantage back in Generation 5 and Generation 6, using Pokemon that gave objective stat advantages because they could not be humanly obtained for being 1 in trillions of odds throughout the entire team, throughout multiple teams, throughout multiple years of competitive Pokemon, they just took the risk, and turns out the worst thing that would have happened is a disqualification, and it seems like you can get multiple disqualifications and still not receive bans inside of Play Pokemon. They took the risk, didn't even get disqualified, and then realized they get a free ticket, and now they're friends with everyone at the Pokemon Company who openly allow their players to cheat. Hilarious, Buddy threw away a competition using Gen Pokemon that every player gets automatically. What's the reply to that? Like, what does the person have to say here? Every player who hasn't... See? It's just toxicity against legitimacy. I've been saying that since, 2016, where it's like, wait a second, Pokemon's the only community where not only is like cheating supported and defended, but you get attacked as a legitimate player. You get insulted for saying cheating is wrong, and you get berated for wasting your time when everyone else is cheating, even though it's against the rules. And it also further proves, on top of the dozens of other examples I've given, of players not knowing anything about the game because no one in VGC actually plays the game, which is why they defend cheating. So yeah, like, you get this, and then it takes the like, if you're at that point in the game to be able to get Terapagos, do you have enough resources to max out your Terapagos instantly? And then just more losers that refuse to accept cheating is wrong, especially in children's game, and you have to lie about it, and then you're stealing tens of thousands of dollars in prize money. Straight up evil. It's choosing. It's choosing to be evil. The Mon is legal. Does it really matter if it was Gen or what website it came from? And like, this is the lie. This is the lie, because it's illegal by the rules. There is no such thing as a legal genned Pokemon. There is no such thing as a legal hack. You can't have legitimate cheating in any form of competition. This rule is the blatant catch-all. So yeah, that's current state of Pokemon VGC, which has actually been the current state of Pokemon VGC for its entire history, and the community just kind of gets worse and more toxic about it, and just unable to accept that cheating is wrong. Made even worse because Pokemon is objectively one of the most accessible forms of competition ever. Don't let anyone else lie to you about that. It doesn't have the physical barriers that esports and sports does. It also costs thousands or tens of thousands of dollars less, and the time commitment is way less than anything else as well. And also, there's never an excuse to break rules that you opt into. That is a choice to be a scumbag and ruin other players' experiences to steal prize money through dishonest means. And I keep saying this, after Wolf got caught cheating with proven hacked Pokemon multiple times in recent years, I thought that's gotta be it. That has to be over. Like, now Pokemon VGC can finally implode to rebuild. That didn't happen. Then the 2022 World Champion got caught cheating, and then the second place admitted to cheating. Nothing. We saw record disqualifications at the 2023 World Championships. Nothing. And now hacked Pokemon on stream. I'm expecting nothing, but as you can see, the cheating problem has boiled over, but also hacked Pokemon clearly on stream with Premier Ball, Incineroar, Beast Ball, Porygon, all of that other stuff, and nothing has happened. The scene is rotten because the community is rotten, the Pokemon Company is corrupt, and all the VGC players are evil. Let's go. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. They may see the process of training a team in-game as an unnecessary time sink reserved for more casual gameplay. No, casuals don't even know what an IV is. Well, I mean, they've gotten better with that over the years. If you go back to, like, Generation 6, Generation 5 and earlier, yeah, like, you told someone, like, yo, do you EV train? And they say, yeah, I have a Vaporeon. A story in 3 parts. Here's why most top-level players gen their Pokemon in VGC. DQ'd 2-0 at Worlds. Anyone else down to go on strike this upcoming season? Now, the craziest thing about this first post is that it goes back to July, a month before the World Championship and right after the North American Internationals. So what I want to do is I wanted to go through this thread and see how it holds up now that we saw tons of players getting disqualified at Worlds for cheating, a lot of players losing their Pokemon and complaining about it hindering their success at Worlds, also ending with the World Champion getting caught cheating once again. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and comment your thoughts down below. First, for clarity, my aim is strictly to impartially shed light on why genning is such a common phenomenon in competitive Pokemon. And that's the thing, like, all the VGC players say, yeah, everyone cheats, or 99% of VGC players cheat at the top level, you have to. And then once the disqualifications started coming in, people were talking about how, oh, VGC is inaccessible, competitive Pokemon's inaccessible without hacking, without cheating the game, and you can't compete without it. But what I've been saying for the last decade is that you can't compete without cheating, and it gives a massive advantage, so something needs to be done about cheating. But I'm in the wrong, and now they're like crying and they demand respect after getting caught cheating. It doesn't make sense. Also, this person helps Pokemon players learn and improve at VGC through coaching, community, and a course. So now we can see why they were claiming to be impartial, because they have money in the game, and you can't be like, hey, I'm a top VGC player offering coaching, I hack and gen my Pokemon. It's so weird how, like, open the secret is, and how much people are just admitting to it because they know the director of esports, Chris Brown, isn't going to do anything about it. Oceania International Champion admitting to cheating and telling players how to get around the hack check for upcoming events, followed by the director of esports for Pokemon. It's weird how so many top-level players and champions keep getting caught cheating. It's almost like hacking Pokemon gives you an advantage and it's impossible to compete otherwise. And then there's threads being made about it. And then when they're held accountable, there's just non-stop crying about Pokemon legality. My interest is in informing the community as an insider who knows how the competitive scene generally operates. And here's another problem, that it's all nepotism, it's all a clique. If the right people like you, such as Cybertron, Scott Glaza, or Chris Brown, you're allowed to cheat in Pokemon, and none of the top players are going to accuse anyone else of cheating because they're cheating themselves. So we have instances like this, someone that qualified for Worlds, went 2-0, got disqualified for cheating, offering coaching services, saying that they're an insider, talking about how prevalent genning is with the top level players. So my interest is in informing the community as an insider. No, if you wanted to inform the community as an insider, if you were legitimate yourself, then you would be outing all the known cheaters and you would have the receipts. Who knows how and this is also like, oh, I know how the competitive scene generally operates. So I've been calling this out. I'm like, yeah, it's obvious that everyone's cheating. And now we can just kind of go back. Like Generation 5, of course, everyone was cheating. Generation 6, 7, you know, maybe there was a bit more of a push for legitimate play. So some of them, no, absolutely, none of them were legit. I mean, even Sejun Park is a hacker. Competitive Pokemon's more accessible than ever, but we still can't find a legitimate player anywhere in the scene. And then they get disqualified and complain about cheating anyways. So yeah, not to provide my opinion on the issue. Well, that's because your opinion is that people should be allowed to cheat, and if you can't cheat, then you need to boycott once caught for cheating. And you can't publicly state that, or at least you couldn't before this Worlds, because that's taboo. That said, the biggest reason genning is so common is because the vast time investment required to acquire legitimate Pokemon in-game. So admitting that it gives an advantage, because time is an advantage. If you have more experience and practice over the opponent, you have an advantage over the opponent. If you have more resources than your opponent, in this case usable Pokemon, or access to Pokemon, you are going to have an advantage. So it's so stupid how no one is allowed to admit Realistify always right, even though I've always been right about this, and now they're saying the quiet part out loud. They're admitting it, but you can't give anything to Realistify no matter how right he's always been. A competitive VGC team typically requires some combination of breeding, soft resetting, EV training, acquiring terrace shards, and relevant items. Breeding isn't relevant this gen, so you can just prove this dude's a cheater right here. I mean, we could have, like, gone back, reviewed this thread, and then figured out, like, oh, if there's any punishment, this dude's gonna be the first to get disqualified. For your average competitor who lives a balanced lifestyle with school, work, social, and familiar responsibilities, this likely means finalizing your team days in advance with no room for changes. So admitting the other advantages that hacking gives in Pokemon. I'm just trying to go with the easiest to understand, you don't need any more argument, time is an advantage. There's also intangibles like energy. It is exhausting to spend the dozens to hundreds of hours to constantly get legitimate Pokemon. When you finally make the team, you're going to be mentally exhausted, so you're going to have to put off practice, or you're going to be getting less efficient practice with that team. Yeah, but here's the thing, Pokemon is no different than any other form of competition. Olympians, like you think, oh, someone that's going to be competing for the United States in the Olympics, they have everything handled. They got sponsors, they have a team, they have like grants and everything funded for them because the Olympics are such a big thing. No, they are training for the Olympics, which takes way more time investment, way more money investment, way more work than becoming a competitive Pokemon player while having a family, while having a day job or a job on the side that they need to fund this extreme thing they're doing to become an Olympic athlete, or they are also in college, or they have college job, and then every other waking moment is spent for that Olympic dream. And it's not just sports. It's other esports, it's other games. You think, oh, chess is one of the most accessible things ever. I grab a board, I read a couple of tutorials, and then I just play and play and play until I'm eventually a master, and if I'm gifted enough, a grandmaster. No, to become a grandmaster, you gotta spend $100,000 potentially. You also need to spend 20,000 plus hours of practice and training. You also have to give up some opportunity cost somewhere. Pokemon's no different if you want to be the best in any game, sport, esport. So school, work, family, social responsibilities, yeah, for anyone else that's trying to be competitive anywhere else, they have to sacrifice on those things, or they have to work harder than others to become a top level player. Pokemon's no different. Additionally, enforcement against ginning by the Pokemon Company is fairly perfunctory. Yes, that's because of the corruption at the Pokemon Company International that I've been talking about for over a decade. But you want the easy way. You want the cheating out so you don't have to do any work. So, same with everyone else in VGC, so they don't call it out. They don't talk about the problems. They don't talk about other cheaters. They just cheat themselves because it's the easiest way to get to the top. As long as your Pokemon is tournament legal, no unnatural stats or moves, that's just a straight up lie. There's no such thing as a tournament legal hack. There's no such thing as tournament legal rule breaking. It's in the rules that if a Pokemon is modded in any way, even if it has natural stats or moves, it is against the rules. It is no longer a legal Pokemon. It's the idiotic lie that everyone that supports cheating is forced to regurgitate. Anyone that's called a gen Pokemon legal is a cheater. That is a fact at this point. Again, going off of how much admitted cheating, how much confirmed caught cheating, and how everyone's talking about cheating just being a big thing inside of Pokemon. That if you call a hacked Pokemon legal because of stats or moves, you're just a cheater yourself, because you know nothing about Pokemon legality, and you're just lying so you can get away with cheating. Nor shows any obvious signs of ginning, such as having an original trainer named PK Hex. But that's now in conflict. It's well known that the vast majority of top players gen for the reason above. See, like, that's the thing, it's well known. Everyone inside of VGC is admitting it. People that claim to be impartial are just cheaters themselves. But when I pointed out, I'm wrong, that's impossible. Wolf is a confirmed cheater. Wolfey VGC caught multiple times with multiple hacked Pokemon of every flavor. We have the impossible odds of having 2 event-only Raichu that were discontinued with 1 in 25 million odd soft reset that he got a month before Pokemon Worlds 2016. Straight up hacked Moltres, also a hacked Groudon and Incineroar. Yeah, Hack Groudon and Incineroar for the 25th Anniversary Invitational. Also, Wolf having a completely impossible to obtain Dream Ball Raichu with an Egg move in Generation 6, because Dream Ball Pikachu only existed as a male-only event, and you couldn't breed the balls as a male back in Generation 6. So, every flavor of hacking from Wolf. And the entire Pokemon community is forced to lie or be hypocritical about it, or else the entire thing comes crumbling down, and then their worst nightmare becomes real. For Elisify was right. The good news is that Jinning doesn't actually provide any competitive advantage in tournament. That's a lie. If it doesn't give an advantage, then why is everyone doing it, and why is it only cheaters winning? A properly trained legitimate Pokemon is indistinguishable from a legal Gen 1. Someone taking steroids and pissing clean is still cheating. Additionally, Jinning is highly accessible and easier to do than ever. That's a lie. Having to use unauthorized third-party means is not highly accessible, and even if it was, that doesn't make rule-breaking okay, because cheating is accessible. Players wanting to follow the rules are at a disadvantage. Also, if it doesn't give an advantage, then why are you running so much cover for breaking the rules? Your average player can simply join one of the many Jinning Discording servers where trade bots are ready to receive their orders for the exact Pokemon they're looking for. I would call it ironic that this guy got disqualified from Worlds as well as countless other VGC players, but irony is about something unexpected happening. So yeah, you take this coach's advice and then you get disqualified because it turns out you're not allowed to cheat, and trade bot Pokemon are the most risky as well. So actually, no, this guy's just, it's even crazier than that. Because if you are experienced, so like if you're with the in-crowd and you have a team of really quality cheaters, you actually have less of a chance of getting caught, which means more of an advantage through cheating, because it's actually not that accessible, and it's still really risky to break the rules, as you learned. Wolf Glick has been caught cheating so many times, he is forced to commission the most elite cheaters to never get caught again. So no, top players and new players alike are capable of accessing these resources if they choose, except there's actually layers and advantages to better levels of cheating. There is no significant resource gap between them that is imposed by Jinning, except this ignores that cheating is against the rules. If an athlete wants to use steroids, they're not going to have accessibility issues for getting those steroids. That doesn't make steroids okay, just because anyone can use them. Despite the fact that Jinning doesn't provide a competitive advantage in actual battles, and this is the other lie, that they have to twist the word so much by saying like, oh, it's only in battle. But that ignores the entirety of Pokemon. That's not only what you do on the field in sports, that there's coaching, there's training. Your diet even has a massive impact on how you perform. You will never find two competitors or athletes that are perfectly identical in every way, because it's about what happens leading up to that. There's banned substances that don't increase your strength like steroids and only increase your training efficiency or recovery time. But they're still restricted because it gives you a competitive advantage, even though it's not making you physically stronger. There still exists a palpable tension in the Pokemon community over the fairness of this preparation method. That's because rule breaking is unfair by definition, and Jinning is not a preparation method, it's straight up cheating. Some players believe that Pokemon collection and training process is an integral part of the competitive challenge, because it's literally stated to be that in the rules. Others would argue that the point of VGC is developing team building and battle strategies and executing those strategies well. Yes, with legal Pokemon. They may see the process of training a team in-game as an unnecessary time sink reserved for more casual gameplay. No, casuals don't even know what an IV is. Well, I mean, they've gotten better with that over the years. If you go back to like Generation 6, Generation 5 and earlier, yeah, like you told someone like, yo, do you EV train? And they say, yeah, I have a Vaporeon. Breeding is a competitive element of Pokemon. Again, as supported by the rules and disqualifications. We won't take a side in this debate. Yeah, that's because you're a cheater, and it really makes you look. And see, that's actually like the other thing. If they admit that they're a ginner or pro-ginning or pro-rule breaking, then that makes their argument look bad. But if they're forced to lie about it, that also makes their argument look bad. There's no way to spin an argument for cheating in any competitive discipline. I don't understand how Pokemon is the only sport, esport, or game where cheating is so heavily defended and supported. Cheating is wrong. The most basic things you have to do as a person is you don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal. But most of the Pokemon community, and 99% of the competitive Pokemon community, struggles with this most basic morality. It's insane. Potential solution would be for Game Freak to release a Battle Revolution style game that has battle-ready Pokemon. So the official Pokemon Showdown, the official Pokemon Battle Simulator. I mean, that's only a solution if every previous cheating player gets banned, and it's obvious why Game Freak doesn't want to do this, or make it like a battle simulator, because they want you to work for competitive. That is why the rules are the way they are. That is why we've only seen quality of life changes, instead of them just handing us competitive-ready Pokemon, because the developers believe that each Pokemon is special. They're actually, like, on that. The developers, through their actions, have shown that Pokemon collection and training is an integral part of competitive Pokemon, even. That you are a Pokemon trainer. Training is all elements of Pokemon, and the developers stick to that philosophy. Which further proves the massive corruption of the Pokemon Company International, because the event is held in Japan, and then we see a record amount of disqualifications. So where cheating is detectable and caught by the developers, zero tolerance get disqualified. Actually, no, zero tolerances get banned, but very low tolerance get disqualified for cheated Pokemon. So people go after Game Freak for quote-unquote not enforcing the rules, which is also a point that's made earlier in this thread, but it's not Game Freak. Game Freak is against cheating. All of their actions are for being a Pokemon trainer and for Pokemon being special and having to work for your competitive inside of Pokemon. It's all the other weird stuff that's going around, the corruption of Pokemon Company International, obfuscating how big the cheating problem is, again, because it all comes crumbling down, and even players like this guy who get caught cheating admit that everyone's cheating. We hope we could better illuminate why ginning is a common practice. No, you're either a cheating scumbag, or you know cheating is wrong. There's not going to be any common ground or crossover between that. As well as properly inform you on what exactly it entails, so you are better empowered to make the right decision for you. Ah, yes, getting empowered to then go on Discord TradeBot and get disqualified at Pokemon events, because that's the right decision for you. And there was so much empowerment in just all the lies in this thread. Either way, this post proves me more right than I could have ever imagined, because even I need to take a step back from some of the crazy thoughts. It's hard to think that everyone that has ever even soft defended ginning is a cheater. But that's proven by like all disqualifications, all the ignorance we've seen around gameplay, that these people don't even understand getting a legal Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet or Sword and Shield when it's the easiest and most accessible it's ever been. They were talking about breeding legendaries in 2016. They're talking about breeding Golden Goes in 2023. They've actually never obtained a legal Pokemon in their entire time playing VGC. And anyone that said, I don't cheat, but is actually a cheater themselves, that's just straight up lying. Over the years, I've said things like a majority of VGC players cheat, and over 90% of competitive Pokemon are hacked. And it just feels crazy to push that to a higher number. But no, like over 90% of all VGC players are cheating. And thinking about it, you actually have to give credit to all the corrupt people working at the Pokemon Company International, because it's this bad of a problem, and they've been keeping it from falling apart. That's why we need to put on the pressure, keep sharing, retweeting, commenting, making sure everyone knows how big the problem is, so it cannot be ignored any longer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Apparently, this is the kind of content you guys want to watch right now, the real conversations about what is going on in the Pokemon community and dismantling the weirdos in VGC and Smogon. You don't want to watch the best Pokemon player use tanks in Regulation D to set up a Basculegion sweep. I guess that's understandable, but Regulation D is actually pretty fun, but you guys just want to see, like, again, discussion and conversations and stuff. That's kind of also like a YouTube meta right now. So let's break down what is going on here. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, comment your thoughts down below. Also, comment other things that are going on. I don't have every interesting tweet coming into my follow feed on Twitter, and a lot of people have me blocked, and I also don't know everything that's going on when it comes to the Pokemon community. I try to keep on top of it, but if you have something you want to see me talk about, I'll check it out. So yeah, we have this. VGC prizing should definitely be improved. We have grown enough as a game where the world champ should be getting more than 10k, except that's just not true at all. The VGC community is not growing as much as people say because of the massive amount of cheating. That's why I say, like, too many cheaters not being banned to justify any prize pool. Like, it shouldn't be 10k for worlds. We have not earned cash prizes, and we need to go back to the world where you just get like a 6-day vacation to Japan, or like 5 select locations throughout the world or something. Just make it like an old school kids game show, because no one's getting punished. The scene's actually like super weak right now because of all the cheating, and there's just too much weirdness and corruption going on. And then we immediately get into low IQ takes. Pokemon VGC, sadly, is seen as a way for marketing. In what world is VGC marketing for the Pokemon games? Competitive Pokemon is dead, and there is no capture of the market share that is possible with the Pokemon games or the greater Nintendo or gaming community to get people into the games. No one's watching VGC and going, yeah, this is where it's at. This is what I want to get into. Actually, this section should be its own video, and if you've seen similar comments, please send them my way, comment them down below, or at me at VerlusWolf on Twitter, where we had Hugs, the competitive Smash player, start playing VGC, went 3-0 currently on the official Pokemon stream for the first time ever, pull up, so we're actually like getting some cross-competitive communities into this. I took the time to watch this, and it was the single most miserable viewing experience of an esports stream I've ever seen in my life. That goes to the failings of the Pokemon Company International and Play Pokemon that I've been talking about for a decade. And yeah, like, it's not enjoyable. I've criticized the casters before where they were, what was it? One of the casters talked about how Sandforce Stoutland gives it speed in Sandstorm, I think, and also like some other blunders. They had Justin Flynn and Shady Penguin as casters, even though they weren't super knowledgeable about the game, so it led to like some very dry commentary, but also not a lot of competitive information. And then 20 minutes of empty conversation by the commentators, then the match lasting like 5 minutes. The problem is that the Pokemon VGC community is just a clique of losers, and it scales upwards to where, like, yes, it's all the nepotism, it's all the corruption, it's all for covering of cheaters, and then you get something that's unwatchable outside of Pokemon, and then only a few hundred cheaters out of the tens of millions of people that buy the Pokemon game actually participate in. But despite that, people say 10k should be a regional amount. The greed. The desperation of the Pokemon VGC community. I keep saying this, other 1v1 esports have a much higher payout. Yeah, but those communities actually like grow and do things to deserve the payout, especially with like the competitive integrity of the community. Now, they all have their problems, like the Smash community with all their underaged issues and just complete weirdos and freaks and abuse things going on, and that's happening in like every fighting game and esport and stuff. So yeah, like, it's weird across the board. Pokemon also has a lot of it, but I don't, like, you keep saying this, okay, so what are you doing to move Pokemon forward to justify that to the Pokemon company, or at least make it to where there's actually a reason to participate in competitive Pokemon? If you aren't getting cheaters banned, this is just empty talk. But with a Pokemon Company net worth, there it is, guys, the billion-dollar corporation that also has many other avenues of making money. They aren't just making all of their money off of the video game. There's merchandising, there's TCG. The Pokemon Company has many revenue streams, but no, because they have money, they should run all of the events at a loss and then give all of these cheaters more money for winning the events that aren't bringing any attention to the games or generating any significant amount of sales. Pokemon VGC isn't doing any marketing, it's just giving player satisfaction for the people that support the games and then actually want to get competitive into it. So yeah, part of what keeps VGC from growing is the small pot. I mean, we've seen the transition into cash prizes and then like also some other scaling not do anything to get people into Pokemon VGC. What keeps, and see, this is another thing about the narrative. Wait. I thought VGC was growing. I thought events were doing better than ever, even though when you compare Sword and Shield sales to the like couple of events that we had in 2020, it actually just kind of scales. Like we had 25% more sales of Scarlet and Violet compared to Pokemon Sword and Shield, but Orlando, the largest event, only had 35% more entrants. So very small growth, but people were like, oh, it's doubling, or oh, Pokemon VGC keeps growing. But then they say what's keeping it growing is a small pot, when no, objectively, it's cheaters. I don't know what it is about the Pokemon community that attracts idiots and people that have no common sense or critical thinking skills. It is the most basic idea that cheating is wrong. You cannot have a growing scene with cheating. Cheating is only going to harm what it's affecting. And we also have a lot of brats in the Pokemon community that keep Pokemon down. It should be way easier to build a team. It is the easiest it's ever been to build a team, and it's only gotten easier with every Pokemon game since X and Y. I bet VGC would get way more participation if it didn't take hours, sometimes days, to make a team. So again, here's like this weird admittance to where it's like, oh, VGC is growing, but it isn't. Cheating isn't a problem because you get Pokemon so fast, except Pokemon take too long, and people are like, oh yeah, you just make a Pokemon in like 10-15 minutes so you get a team in 2 hours. But then people say, yo, it takes days to make a team. So just like the lies and hypocrisy, that's what's killing VGC. That's why people aren't participating, not just spending time playing a game to participate in the game. That doesn't stop any other game. That doesn't stop any other sport. People don't realize the thousands of hours of practice that go into football, baseball, MMA, every sport. Same thing for gaming and esports, that people are in the practice tool of League of Legends, practicing flashes, CSing, and all kinds of other basic fundamental mechanics. Pokemon is no different. Spending dozens and hundreds of hours training your Pokemon is no different than practicing your aim for a first-person shooter. It's a part of the game, it's the gameplay requirement to get into competitive as stated by the rules, and the reason why people don't want to play VGC is because they don't want to spend all that time, immediately get hacked against, and be permanently behind the metagame. This guy's saying 25k for first place, 10k for second place, new Switch for both, and 3 boxes of the newest set would be acceptable. I mean, if you're winning 25k, what's 3 booster boxes? I mean, I guess it is like really fun. Cracking open like Pokemon packs that you didn't pay for, that's like one of the greatest feelings in the world. But I guess like, yeah, it's kind of a neat thing. New Switch, but you're already participating on Switch. Like, these extra little prizes don't make sense to me. If it's like 25k, what has the Pokemon VGC community done to deserve 25k for Worlds? Like, there is a cool dream scenario where it's like, yeah, if I win Pokemon Worlds, that is my career. That is as if I won the Worlds event for any other game. Well, the reason why it isn't that way is because the Pokemon VGC community has been so terrible for so long, and the Pokemon Company International has made nothing of the VGC Play Pokemon product. Now, here we have a top-tier, deranged take. TCG getting over double is criminal, even though Pokemon VGC is a one-time investment of $60 every 2 to 3 years, whereas Pokemon TCG is constantly spending money on new cards, new decks, new formats, new rotations, and stuff like that, to where you're spending hundreds and thousands of dollars to participate in the Pokemon TCG, while also getting much higher turnout. The barrier to entry in TCG is way higher, but that's not stopping it from being larger than VGC. Also, let's talk about the history event. Why does VGC deserve more when TCG has giga mega hyper carried VGC at events? Like, if it wasn't for TCG, we wouldn't have had most of the VGC events we've seen in the past, because it's just not sustainable. So we have 2020 San Diego Regional Championships TCG, 580 players. San Diego Regional Championships VGC, 79. 79 players for VGC at the end of Generation 7. And even now, Portland Regional Championships 2023 VGC, 469 players. Pokemon Portland Regional Championships TCG, 1,088 players. So why is it that the event that's getting over double the entrants doesn't deserve double the prize money? And I guess it is slightly inaccurate for me to say that VGC is just a one-time investment of $60, because you do have to pay the $70+ entry fee for the VGC regionals. So it's like, yeah, it's just insane. And there's nothing worth it. And then you're going to pay all that and put all this time investment just to get cheated against because no one in the VGC community cares about enforcing the rules. We also saw that with what happened with the Korean players recently. So yeah, VGC doesn't deserve anything. And then it's just a shame that it's impossible to have a productive conversation with anyone in the Pokemon VGC community. There was some random named Neil that was coming at me, so I was like, okay, what do we do about the cheaters? And he was deflecting my small example of the people that have 100% been proven to have cheated in Pokemon VGC. He was like, yeah, but what about Naoto, the 2019 Pokemon World Champion? Like, well, every non-Japanese World Champion is a proven cheater, so you're one example that is inconclusive because Japanese players still cheat despite it being illegal, doesn't really prove anything. So I destroyed every argument he had against me, but instead of being honest and saying, yeah, cheating is a problem in Pokemon VGC, we should probably do something about it, he deleted all of his tweets and blocked me because he has no argument against this. No VGC player does. And then there's also the classic of, if there's nothing wrong with cheating, then why do all these players lie, including Wolf Glick? Once again proving it's impossible to have a rational conversation with anyone in Pokemon VGC, and then, holy crap, him and the sheep are so mad, and then that's like it. It's just hateful people. Pokemon VGC is 99% toxic brats that can't win in a children's game without cheating, and all of their responses and interactions really show that. So I deleted my tweets at the guy in question, and again, I'm Voldemort. You can't ever acknowledge me, but everyone knows who they were talking about, which is always really weird, and publicly vouched to myself to never interact with someone like that again. So trying to grandstand after being proven wrong, and after ignoring the proof I gave multiple times, the undeniable cheating in VGC. It's actually such a waste of time, it's so stupid. Dude doesn't even get enough views to hurt our circuit. Well, that's a lie, or you wouldn't have responded and tried to defend, and then say that I'm the one that's trying to hurt and take down VGC on baseless claims, even though once again, I gave the receipts. We also had the multiple comments early on in the video about why VGC isn't growing and why participation is low. The Pokemon VGC community is in such a tiny bubble, they don't realize like how much market share and how much they're losing by not doing anything about the major cheating problem. And I'm the only one bringing attention to this, and I've been doing so for a very long time. The reason why my views are low is because of all the very high view videos, hundreds of thousands of views, exposing the cheating over the last decade, to where people, they're not going to care about Pokemon anymore, so there's no reason for them to watch my videos. I put the truth over views. Now, I was hoping there would be something productive about this, like getting Wolfey VGC and all the other cheaters permanently banned, that way people would come back in or at least want to stay into Pokemon, but instead it's just a dead game. It can be hard to set the conversation down when people are that way, you know, giving facts, but at the end it feels much better to ignore than engage. But they can't do it. They're so toxic that it's a compulsion. They can't stop themselves from doing it. Amen, brother. Verlisify is nothing more than a blight to the Pokemon community. How? Why? Because I'm the only Poketuber that's against lying, cheating, and stealing? Saying I'm a blight to evil behavior and bad actors doesn't have the effect you think it does. And then, you're real for that though, King. You're real for getting bodied so hard that you needed to delete all the comments and then block the dude. Deranged. But there we go, guys. I love talking about Pokemon. Pokemon is my passion. I love having conversations about Pokemon. Unfortunately, it's pretty much impossible to have good conversations about Pokemon, which is why everything is so terrible. Community is pretty dead, and yeah, it's just weird. But send me some interesting stuff. Keep talking about Pokemon, and then that'll be a way to get through this dry spell of like no news, nothing interesting, no engagement with Pokemon. Just kind of weird right now. So, you guys, enjoy the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.